Alright, welcome back everyone to the latest episode of RRM. Isang R ay kulang pa. I don't know kung na traffic or something. I hope he's doing fine. But, okay lang yan. Great people, amazing people. Kasama po natin today, nako, Kristan.
What's up? What's up, Richard?
At saka, of course, newly crowned non-nuisance candidate. Non-nuisance candidate. Candidate number
27.
27.
Wow.
Just before number 28, Bongo.
Bongo. Representing Quezon City. Yan. Wow, brother. Feeling ko nanonood ng RM yung Comelec.
Oo,
Sabi
nga
nila, wag na,
Hindi
baka
ako
mabash
ninusan.
tayo next year.
Parang panalo na ako eh.
Actually, I think you already made the point.
Oo.
Di ba? No, seriously, kasi last time, di ba, we're gonna talk about this. You're not gonna get
No.
scot-free. Yeah, I mean, last time, di ba, ang concern natin is in terms of how do they define machinery? Because you have hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of engagement, but does that qualify as enough of machinery? Mukhang, I think we have a operational answer, no?
Oh, mukha nga. So, thank you very much, Comelec, for accepting yung aking candidacy. And ang pangako ko naman is I will do my best to give kumbaga honest to goodness decent campaign, di ba?
Yes.
Para pakita ko na na kahit hindi we don't have hundreds and millions of pesos, kahit hindi tayo galing sa political family,
Mayaman
tayo?
pa rin tayo.
Yun!
Millions,
Karapatan
millions
natin,
lang.
karapatan nating tumakbo. Yun naman yun.
Oo naman. Yeah.
Siguro ang point, people shouldn't be afraid to join the
Yes.
electoral process. Kasi if hahayaan na lang natin the same old people running,
Yeah.
di ba? Ganun, it's the same old results ang nangyayari. So
Yeah, I
we
think that the nuisance, that whole discourse really has something to do with their definition of democracy, diba? Kasi if it's really about usual machinery, then finifilter out mo yung ordinary people, diba? So I think for a long time, I'm really curious to really study your case, no? If this is a precedence, legally, politically, and what this means moving forward. So you're right, in a sense, winner ka. Now, Chris!
ito,
Mukhang kailangan din natin ng dagdagan ng title itong kasama natin. Chris, you have been saying this and you're walking the talk, in fairness. Believe ako sa'yo, bro. Aside from your Bitcoin stuff. You said, di ba? Like, at the end of the day, we should be engaged in this process no matter how imperfect, even disgusting and scary it can become. So what is your journey? You want to give us an update? Medyo na-surprise din ako, bro. Maybe, eto na.
Actually, matagal ko itong pinag-isipan and I didn't really want to do it, but I figured, sige, let's go for it. I'm running for Mandaluyong councilor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so,
Wow!
yep.
Shucks, grabe. Kompleto na
Yeah.
tayo. May slate na kami. RRM slate.
I haven't even announced it. This is the first time I'm announcing it right
man,
now.
That's
So,
it. Privilege information.
on
So, kailan ka nag-file ng...
On the last
umakyat
day.
ka rin, hindi, iba
on the last
sa
day.
national ba
Hindi,
yan?
sa local
Local eh.
Local kasi, kaya hindi ka
Local
umakyat
Comelec
doon.
office.
Ah.
On the last day you filed.
On the last day, yeah. I showed up and then I submitted it. I woke up that morning and I was like, sige na nga, gawin na natin to. Kasi one thing that I keep telling people, like you said nga, is we should all start running for office. Kasi ang problema natin is ang daming mga politiko kaya nananalo kasi walang lumalaban. Walang kandidato.
Yeah.
In Mandaluyong, the Abaloses, as much as I like the Abaloses, they ran unopposed.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why, because nobody wants to run. And everyone's complaining, but nobody wants to run. I am glad na marami nga ngayon kahit na mga sabi natin social media influencers na dami ako nakita names that are running. And it's good. And not just social media influencers. Even people, regular people running, I think that's a good thing. Because nakikita mo dito now, people are stepping up to the plate.
Yeah. We'll talk about this more. Let me just shout out Mayor Magaling of Baguio. Thank you very much for dropping by dun sa burial of Lola ko. Obviously, as some of you know, he openly asked me to succeed him in Baguio down the road. But I don't know. I said I'll try to help in whatever I can. But as you can imagine, more foreign affairs is something I have in mind down the road. So just to say, I'm inspired by you guys. And just to clarify, I'm not close to the possibility. Maybe not this cycle, but down the road to serving the country in a different capacity. So, mga ka-DDS, baka naman, mga Davaoenos, mga tsaka ka-Solid North. So, no, I'm just saying, this is good. Let's normalize this.
Let's normalize.
Let's
Yes.
normalize this, bro. Dapat wala na yung stigma. So, can we go through your thought process? Bakit on the last day? Because subconsciously you were thinking about it? Or aminin mo, you have been thinking about it and nibbling with it for quite some time?
Yes, I've been nibbling with that idea, and I had to ask myself, am I running because of ego? Because people were saying, sige, tumakbo ka?
Yeah.
And when a lot of people tell you that, it feeds your ego eh. Diba? And you're like, oh sige, I'm gonna run because of my ego. Is it ego or is it really because you want to serve? So, if I just wanted to run for ego, I think I would have run immediately for Congress.
Yeah. Or
Pero
mayor
or mayor, pero no, I realized I didn't even really care to run, but I keep telling people they should run. So may nagsabi sa akin, you tell people to run and you don't want to run. So I said, sige na, let's do it. So I wanted to do councilor first because I wanted to get my feet wet. Learn the ropes,
Like
find
Vico
out.
Soto, like Vico Soto.
Yeah, like Vico Soto. And then I want to see kung saan ako makakatulong talaga. When it comes to people, is it through executive, being a mayor eventually, or being a congressman eventually? Or maybe after councilor, I realize, oh man, this isn't for me, ayoko na, and then stop na after this one. But at least I got to try it. But what I do promise that I'm going to be doing while I'm there is, and I'm sure you're gonna do this too, is expose ko talaga lahat ng inner workings ng gobyerno locally. I'm gonna show you what the budget is. I'm gonna show people what the revenue is. I'm gonna say kung may utang o wala. I'm gonna just show everything. And that's what I plan to do as a councilor. And look at every problem that we can solve in Mandaluyong.
What is the platform, like participatory budgeting, yung idea na there's accountability and conversation with the communities on the ground to make sure may say sila sa budget ng city? What are the things you're looking at? Because to be honest, my problem with Mandaluyong is just the other week, muntik ako nabaha. Walang nabaha sa BGC pero baha kagad baha kagad dun sa Mandaluyong. So infrastructure, what are you looking at here?
Yeah. So the three things I'm looking at actually are shelter, education, four. Shelter, education, health, and jobs. Yun ang importante. I think that if you can focus on those things, you improve the quality of life of the people in Mandaluyong. One thing kasi, when I came from my trip in Kuala Lumpur, I realized something. Sabi ko, ba't pala ako nakikitang masyadong squatter areas dito? And I realized it's because they provide
Affordable housing.
Like
Singapore also.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that in the Philippines, and if you start with the local, like for example, Mandaluyong, maliit lang Mandaluyong eh. We only have a population of about 450,000 residents. Kaya eh. There's money for it. It's just if you properly budget it. And Vico showed na may pera ang mga local government. I-budget mo lang maayos. And I'd love to be able to give every person in Mandaluyong a proper home. Yun ang nakikita ko.
I was wondering, I'll go to you also, Mark. I was wondering, ang ganda sana yung a day in the life of a counselor, right?
Yeah.
People don't understand, the raw texture of public service. Para kasi nare-romanticize ng tayo. Yung iba akala nila, papogi lang yan.
Yep.
Yung iba akala nila, nakaka-stress yan. Like, I want people to have a realistic view. So parang ikaw yung body cam version ng
Yes.
service. Ang ganda
More
sana.
transparency.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and really that's one thing that I plan to do even during the campaign. Ang gagawin ko talaga is I'm going to show the journey of what it's like to campaign, right? Di ba ang ganda nung idea na yun para makita ng tao what it's like, and plus also to highlight some of the people in Mandaluyong, whether it's what are your concerns, what is it that you want to bring about, all of these things ilalabas ko yan. So I'm going to use my platform to be able to do that.
And look forward to, maybe we'll follow you in some of these days and those conversations. Now, ikaw, why did you choose national, not local, like in QC or something like that, considering, probably it's even more viable, although congratulations, you're now a legit candidate for Senate.
I'll be in the ballot next year.
Yeah. Grabe, no? Wow.
Oo.
Jeez.
Hindi, I wanted to make the most impact siguro. I wanted to make parang I believe kasi whether you win or you lose. So, pero syempre we're doing this to win, di ba? Gusto nating we're doing this to get in dun sa Magic 12. Pero I believe na kahit whether you win or you lose,
winner ka pa rin.
Oh,
Yeah.
You could change the conversation. You could disrupt the politics, disrupt yung how people run. Kasi ngayon pag tatakbo ka ng senator, ang only formula lang is you need 500 million for television ads.
Yeah.
You need to be
Air
from
war.
this family, ganitong apelido. So we want to disrupt that and at the same time we are also helping mga senators na we believe could also disrupt yung Senate. So kasi ang plano ko talaga, meron akong mga candidates na tutulungan. For example, si Doc Willie Ong, di ba? Kasi
Right.
kasama ko yan before. So, I was thinking na sasama ako sa kanya, ikot kami ng Pilipinas, we'll campaign, we'll
Good
try to
idea.
disrupt
Smart.
politics. Might as well, tumakbo na rin ako. So,
That's a very interesting idea. Actually, oo nga, no?
Diba?
You can do it with Doc William.
yeah, either way, iikot din ako ng Pilipinas eh.
Yeah.
I made that promise to him when we last
Exactly, yeah.
talk na iikot ako kasi lalo siya may sakit, so he won't be able to visit every province. So magpo-proxy ako for him, iikot ako for him. So takbo na din ako. Magpakilala na din ako
Yes.
doon sa
But Doc Willie Ong's platform is very clear, right? Healthcare, affordable healthcare for people among others. What is your platform?
yun. So, doon sa Comelec when nung unang araw. So ako naman first day ako file to make the most impact. Kasi all the cameras are there,
Yes.
all the there. So, national yung labanan. So,
Naunahan mo pa si Diwat.
Naunahan ba niya?
Day two sila, day two
Ah,
sila.
okay.
Ayun. So, ang sinabi ko doon, I wanted to introduce myself muna. So, my simple tagline is vlogger ng Senado because that's what I'm known for.
Interesting.
Ang nilatag kong platform doon ay mostly for content creators, online sellers, freelancers. Kasi that's where the industry that I'm in. So, like mga dagdag capital for online sellers, yung office for fake news, mga common sense ideas na wala masyadong tumututok for our industry.
Double taxation. We're paying a lot of taxes as
Ayun.
vloggers. They're
Yun.
in US and also here.
Yun,
Yeah.
I believe na if ang kita mo is online, dapat lahat ng taxes mo should be online lang din. You don't need mga papers na, 'di ba? Let's not make it hard for our online freelancers. So doon nag-start yung aking
Advocacy. no?
advocacy and also Philippine ICT High School. Technology.
Mm.
That's also a passion na I have na I believe na we could also excel if the government could pour in
Vocational.
money.
Parang Germany, yung vocational.
I'm
gym.
thinking parang Philippine Science High School.
Wow.
Pero
Technical school.
focus on
Yeah.
ICT.
Yes.
So, kung ano yung kailangan ng Microsoft, anong kailangan ng Google, software engineers. So, we could hire the best people there to focus. So, yung mga ganong klaseng, yun yung mga una kong nilatag. Pero, ngayon, binubuo ko yung platform ko. One is, buti nga nabanggit mo kasi ako I'm most inspired by two people, Vico Soto and Isko Moreno. I've been vlogging about them for the last 5 years. So, I think ang una sa listahan ko is yung the Isko Moreno model ng in-city vertical housing. Buti nasabi mo yung
Right. So,
housing
paras
sa
kayo ng-
Mandaluyong
Absolutely.
Kasi we saw it sa Manila with the Binondominium and Condominium. Maganda naman yung nangyayari. So parang Singapore style din. Kinopya lang din naman ni Yorme yan sa Singapore. And no one is talking about it sa mga tatakbo sa Senado. So that is one. And the other one is a freedom of information bill na similar to Vico Soto. So yun naman. So,
Right.
so those
For
are
transparency.
for transparency and so yun yung dalawang inspired nung two people that I learned the most over the
Right.
last 5 years.
So, Mark, I want to ask, most likely as you go around and talk to people, they're gonna refine your platform.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, I have to do this kasi
Yes,
ang
of course,
dami
of course.
nag-bash
Oh.
sa akin na why are you so soft on your friend? Kasi I'm tough on everyone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Bakit kay Mark, ganyan-ganyan ka? So I said, just first let him clear the hurdle and now that he's legit. I'm gonna treat you like a
Huwag
legit
muna tayong
guy.
manusan. So,
Yeah.
sige.
Tsaka ako lang yung sinabihan mo ng una, di ba?
Yeah, yeah.
You saw I was supportive. I said, first talk to a proper lawyer. Make sure you have the basics done.
Yun.
So, hindi naman ako yung, yeah bro, talon ka na. I was never like that.
And nga, I would like to thank Richard din kasi I haven't told anyone this. He was the first one I consulted even before my mom and dad. mas una siyang nalaman. And he gave me advice.
Bros before family.
Election lawyer and all that. Yan, sinunod ko naman and naging smooth
Thank
naman
God, yeah.
naging smooth naman yung pagtakbo and thank God naman nakasama tayo dun sa 66. So, parang nanalo na din tayo.
Yeah, so I'm sure as we get back to you, Mark, we're gonna have more ideas, refinement, especially if Doc willing, on God willing, as he feels better, joins you. I'm sure gonna feed off on each other. No?
Maraming before yung mga everything that we talk about dun sa show, lahat ng mga stand ko dun sa mga issues.
Right.
It's the same stand that I will bring sa Senate kung pagbigyan, like yung ating stand sa West Philippine Sea.
Right.
Very tough on that. We made a series about espionage from possible Chinese
Yeah.
spies. We need to update the law na yung espionage law natin is sobrang luma na. And up to dun sa mga issues like sa LGBT, I'm also for same-sex union, civil unions for same-sex couples.
Right.
So may mga ilalatag ko siya.
So you're very centrist, no? I mean, napansin ko, in a sense na hindi ka talaga ideological. You look at what works for this time,
Yeah.
for you meet the voters where they are.
Yeah.
No, very...
I'm all about compromise.
Yun nga eh. How to... Kasi I always see like the bashing is, oh, Mark is like, ganyan. Kasi, yeah, but you know, he represents what gets done eh. And that's what we need instead of cancel culture and all of this nonsense. As you know, may mga nag-hater na naman sa akin. So, shout out dyan kay Wilfredo, Chloe hating Garrido. Parang Harry Roque ata ng kabilang eh. Like they're trying to question my criticalness of Duterte. It's like, isn't that the most stupid thing? Like I've been criticized.
Oo, eh.
So it gets that pathetic, right? That there are some people who try to question my opposition-ness after everything I did. It gets that ridiculous. Kaya minsan I like spending time with you two gentlemen. I'll get back to you also, Chris, is because it's a very kind of a no-nonsense, focus on what works, focus on what's new, what could work. Can you tell me a little bit also about your own approach? Now, of course, all of us are progressive in the sense that we believe in change, good change. You obviously covered the pink movement a lot. A lot of people, followed you.
Yes.
I got to know more about you because of your strong stance against, Team Kadiliman and Kasamaan. So in fairness, I mean, I don't think there's any question about your general outlook for a kind of a progressive, liberal, democratic society. But as a counselor and God willing, you'll spend more time in public service. What is the approach and brand? What philosophy do you bring to public service?
Oh wow, what's the philosophy?
Kasi legit
That's
na kayo eh.
that's a good question.
I'm the host
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
You're
no.
two legit candidates. See, I'm fair, even if you're my friend.
Yeah, that's actually a very tough question. I would not say I'm liberal or I am conservative or whichever party. I don't belong to any, and that's why I'm running as an independent.
Exactly. Both of you are running
Yeah.
as independent. Exactly.
And the number two, there are things that, for example, the liberals do that I like. There are some things that I oppose. There are some things that the party of Marcos and his party mates do that I like, some that I oppose. With Duterte, same then. There are things that I like and there are things that I don't
Okay,
like.
so let's break it down. Okay, just for clarity. So, obviously, same-sex union. I think both of you are quite liberal. You're also quite libertarian, my sense is. You don't like state intervention.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Personal choice is a very big thing for me.
Similar
Yeah.
kayo. Yeah, personal choice, personal freedoms.
But I have a very strong view on the trans issue. And I've been very vocal about this with
Kasi toxic masculinity ka. Ayan na.
Ayan.
Alright. Fireworks. Oh my God, maka-cancel ako.
Maka-cancel.
That's what I've been trying to avoid.
When you said the T word, I saw your face na Richard.
My face went.
You're like,
sa pero.
let's not go there.
No, okay. Can you say it in a way that doesn't get me canceled?
Sure.
Are you saying there's too much emphasis on identity politics? Is that your line?
Identity politics? Are we referring to the trans issue or are we referring to
In
politics?
general, like this debate about, it's the gender minorities, the constant focus. Because some people are saying, we're not against that per se, pero wag natin kalimutan ibang issues, plumbing, infrastructure, class issues, social justice.
Right.
Na hindi na nagiging masyado daw hegemonic, right?
Right.
What is the angle? Are you coming from a religious angle on this?
No,
issue?
not a religious angle. For me lang that all rights have to be respected. And I think that we're putting so much emphasis on trans rights that we're forgetting about women's rights, which is what it is all about. Because you're giving so much rights to a minority, which is fine, pero when you're trampling on others' rights to be able to give the rights to some special interest group, then that's
is this
not
the comfort room issue you're in particular?
Sports.
sports. Yeah.
Yung boxing.
Oh, yeah.
Kahit naman talaga yung
A
Algerian.
lot of sports. Diba?
Yeah.
Sports. Mga ganon.
Sure, yeah.
It's about
Talaga
an issue of
makancel ako
fairness.
dito.
Yeah. And
No,
Mr.
but
Richard.
see, I'm open. I'm open-minded. No, yeah.
and actually what
We
what
may
I
disagree, yeah.
what I realize is that a lot of people are not basing things on science anymore. It's about feelings now. And hindi naman pwedeng lahat feelings. There's a certain point where science and feelings, you have to decide ano ba talaga.
Like yung power of the suntok.
Oh yeah, it's not about I feel like a woman, therefore I'll fight a woman. No. You're not a woman. You feel like one, fine, but you're not. So please don't fight a woman.
But okay, ganito.
Ito pa, isa pang word pa rin. Pronouns.
Yun, alam mo.
Cancel talaga tayo.
Alam mo.
Alala lang
Hindi.
po, these are not my views. I'm just being democratic here. Yeah.
No.
Please go ahead.
For me, it's simple lang with regards to the pronouns. Listen, you want me to call you a cat, I'll call you a cat. Fine. Pero please don't impose your belief on other people, much like I don't impose my beliefs on you. Ganun din. So when we talk about individuality in that sense, yes, you can do whatever you want, be whatever you want. But if you impose that same belief or outlook on other people, that's not right because you're now infringing on other people's rights. And
You share that view?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much. Ako ano kasi we
Interest.
get too much busy doon sa mga
The-
pronouns.
yeah.
Ako, I would rather focus on the bigger issues like yung same-sex unions. Kasi
Yes.
I know a lot of couples na parehong woman or parehong guy. They've been together for 40 years pero wala silang karapatan sa isa't isa. One would get sick, ang hospital tatanungin yung mga kapatid.
Yep.
So yung mga ganong, I would rather focus on yung mga actual problems that same-sex couples have.
So you're for same-sex union?
Civil union.
Civil union.
Yeah.
Civil union.
Thylland just passed civil union also.
Yeah.
If I'm not
Yun.
mistaken.
So
Yeah.
hindi siya we won't call it marriage, hindi sila kasal, pero they have
the same rights.
Support of
As
the
a
state.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
think yun lang
sanctified
yun
by
eh.
the state, not by
Oh.
church.
Yes, yun
Interesting.
naman. Para
You know what? Okay, again, I'll just put it this way. I think we should have this kind of conversation, even if some folks don't agree with us or they feel offended or anything. Hindi kasi maganda kasi napansin ko, I hear things off the record which are very, feeling ko naman too much. So I think dapat ilatag natin sa public discussion to kasi kasi yun ang napansin ko people try to suppress contrarian views.
Yes.
Sobrang like you say anything about Chloe, they'll call you boomer. You say anything about in favor, they'll call you like you hate family. Like
Yeah.
you say anything about Leni, they'll say you dilawan. You say anything against her, they call you like Didi. It's like I just think that's anti-democratic.
Yep.
I don't care you're left or right, but that's anti-democratic. So that's where my stance is very clear. Do not suppress our right to express it. So you may say I may react or ganun, but ako naman, I think I'm socially conservative in a sense that there are the Catholic religious values there, but at the same time there's a democratic side in me says that as long as your expression of your right doesn't infringe upon mine, then we're good. Now,
Yeah.
ibang debate na if that's happening or not. That's an empirical debate. But as a matter of principle, I'm okay with that. Kaya I'm trying to hear different perspective on this. But Chris, just going back to you. In how do you think we can find a balance whereby we can fight for the rights of all minorities without any of them trampling upon the other one? Like for women, for LGBTQ community, because some people will say no, it's not mutually exclusive. But your argument is that there are times there could be tension. So
Yes.
how do we resolve the tension?
Well, I think first of all, when you, in particular, I think when you talk about trans rights, they're trying to parang always say that they're victims and that sila yung aping-ape and everything, and therefore screw everyone's rights as long as our rights are not are given to us. Like for example, using of the bathroom, joining pageants, joining sports. But then again, sa akin, I have friends that are trans, by the way.
But are you talking about US or the Philippines? Kasi parang feeling ko yung debate na sinasabi mo.
Okay.
Kasi I'm not sure that's the case in the Philippines. Is it?
no, hindi.
No. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Some people are trying to,
Yun
pero
nga eh, Chris,
Yeah.
Yun nga eh, this is a debate I see in the US, this culture war. Pero parang hindi ko naman nakita
Pilipinas
sa
hindi.
No,
Pilipinas.
I think it's
Makapasok eh.
I think it's because the Philippines we're already more tolerant.
Yeah.
We're more inclusive,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
we don't give a crap what your sexuality is or your
We
sexual.
celebrate it.
We
Pero
do.
Ako
I-
I feel na there's still a very high parang homophobism pumapasok. So
at saka toxic masculinity.
toxic. Meron pa rin ganon, pero marami nang sa atin ang mulat na and
Yeah.
understands na respect for each other.
Pero tama si Mark actually. When I posted about that issue with the Algerian boxer, I saw a lot of homophobic remarks, which is surprising. I thought that if you were gonna support my perspective of this, you don't need to be homophobic. It's not about homophobia. It's just
it's a biological debate.
Yes, and hindi naman trans yung tao to. Lalaki talaga siya eh. And I understand why he's doing it. He was doing it because that's his livelihood. He was getting so many sponsorships and everything. And that's why he decided to still compete. Pero kinalimutan niya yung safety ng mga kababaihan. That's the hard part to watch. Watching it was so brutal. So yun, like, or the
But
issue.
just to be clear, that's the Boxing Association's version. The Olympics is a different version. But again, I know where you're coming from. Ako kasi my stance on that is there's also a contestation between the Olympics people and
yes.
the box and the Russian angle. Every time there's like Russian versus angle. But again, I see that we can debate about the empirical issue, but I think it's all about the sensibility and where you're coming from.
Yes.
But ikaw, Mark, sa tingin mo, is that even an issue? Kasi napansin ko sa Pilipinas, wala naman tayong culture wars eh.
Wala. Kasi,
Or maybe because I'm from UP Diliman and LGBT are extremely empowered there already. Actually, kami yung mga straight yung
the latest
minority
one is yung kay, yung kay Jude Bacalso. Diba?
Yes.
Cebu, diba? What happened dun sa... ngayon,
yung suntukan ba yan? Yung sa ano?
No.
Yung sa waiter.
Waiter na
sir!
Oh, Sir Jude.
Si Sir,
So, he made yung waiter stand for 2 hours. Pero yun, kita mo doon na kumbaga, some people are trying to introduce pronouns US style dito sa Pilipinas. Pero Filipinos are not
And we don't have pronouns naman in the
Siya.
Filipino language
We
eh.
have siya
We are gender neutral.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oo.
Asawa.
Ikaw,
Sila.
ako.
Yeah. Asawa is like either way, right?
Yeah.
Kapatid is either
Yep.
way. So actually, we're lucky because our pre-European, pre-Hispanic culture was already very babaylan-centric and all of that. I
Yeah.
would say that's what's unique. So actually, where I agree with Mark is I see this tendency na nag-import tayo ng culture wars from the West. Like, we don't need wars because we're okay. We already have so much problems.
As a matter of fact, not just like when you talk about culture wars, as like for example, sexuality, diba? We don't need to import that. And what I did notice about Asians, being in KL the other week, there's no problems between religion as well. Whether you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're Buddhist, everyone gets along. You do your thing, you wear what you want to wear, you do your own practices, no problem. Unlike in the States where it's becoming a really big deal, this religious, denominations.
Yeah.
But in Asia, I don't see that. And I think maybe that's an Asian thing. I don't know.
Yeah, or at least Southeast Asian thing. I would say we're very lucky in Southeast Asia because it's very diverse. You can see that in our food.
Yes.
Right? Just food of Malaysia, food of Singapore, Indonesia. It's very rich. So I think we're still okay. I'm sure our LGBT listeners and all will say, of course, it's easy for you guys to say because you're an politically correct term for gender. What's that? Pag straight ka, anong tawag? Cisgender, right?
I know my terms.
Man,
Ikaw, Richard,
Shucks, sorry, man. Walang tulog. So, di ba, parang it's easy for you to say because you're blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, for me naman, I just don't like us importing stuff from abroad.
Right.
Kasi the languages, like the terminology is being used. I use the term gaslighting a lot too. But sometimes I just feel we're importing too much when we don't need to. Import the good stuff from abroad. Like labor mobilization, organization, party building. Yun yung mga ganun na kailangan natin. I want to ask you, both gentlemen, before we go to other issues, but we're still talking about you and your views and all of that. In terms of actual things you want to see get done, Mark, I want to start with you. Sa tingin mo, ano yung mga priorities? Kasi ang dami ng problema tong bayan natin. At the same time, you don't want to also be like Willie Revillame na mamaya na lang pag nanalo na I'll figure out. Siyempre, kailangan mo mag-prioritize kasi limited yung time mo, yung bosses mo, 24 kayong senador, di ba? Ang dami mga issues. What do you want to focus on? Kunyari, si Cynthia Villar. Research. Wag na tayo magsayang ng oras, di ba? Agriculture na. Like, ikaw, what do you think are the low-hanging fruit and also the long-term issues that you feel should be, dapat tututukan talaga, i-prioritize?
Okay, dun sa long term muna. Medyo ang hirap ng ano. Ang hirap ng kandidato. No, pero hindi.
Ako yung host, so I have to
for
be fair,
the last weeks talaga binubuo ko naman yung ano. Pagdating sa infrastructure, pag sa long term I think I want to focus on 3 things sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Sa Luzon, expressways from Cagayan, Lawag hanggang sa Sorsogon. So let's finish that first. Yung expressways, yung trend ginagawa na din naman So kesa gawa ng bubungkalin yung maayos na kalsada, let's focus on the highways, let's focus on the expressways sa Luzon. Sa Visayas siguro yung bridges. I think, ewan ko ba't na-delay yung Iloilo, Guimaras, Bacolod. Pero we want to connect the whole Visayas eventually. And sa Mindanao, trend. Yung I always follow yung Mindanao Railway Project.
But that's a DPWH, so how is the Senate going to be helpful in that?
Sa budget. Kasi habang hindi pa nahahanap yung funders nga from abroad. Kasi pag nakikita ko like yung pag narinig ko yung 51 billion sa ganitong flood control, sa ganitong yung 51 billion if you put that doon sa real project, may release ka na. May mga stations ka na. So I feel kasi Mindanao is they feel left out. Parang
abandoned talaga.
Abandoned So iparamdam naman natin na And I think it would be good then for the Marcos administration na lalo na Mindanao sila weakest, Mindanao strongest yung kanilang kalaban ngayon na Duterte's. 6 years kay Duterte, wala ni isang riles na nilagay dyan sa trend nila. If that could happen sa panahon ni Marcos. Siguro I want to use this opportunity na din. They're doing the budget now. Lagyan nyo naman po ng budget yung Mindanao Railway. Okay, simulan na habang naghahanap ng funding for i-extend yung lagyan nyo na po ng budget. May makita na yung tao, may makita na yung...
But Mark, that was supposed to be done kasi with China and with China, things backed out and all of that. So I think, but in theory, you have to work with the executive branch, with NEDA, among other things. So infrastructure, budget for infrastructure, and scrutinizing to make sure walang mambo-jumbo like yung... Dapat ako, gusto kong gawin mo, flood control ang titignan mo. What the heck happened with flood control? We spend billions of dollars and yet...
Alam naman natin nangyari sa flood control.
Hindi, kaya nga, dapat malaman talaga yung mga pangalan. I-quadcom nyo yung mga walang yung mga contractors na yan, di ba?
Yan, sige. Ayun, so, yun, like that.
Parang
yung budget.
To. Kaya may mga contractor.
Hindi, pero alam naman natin So, instead of all that budget for kanya-kanyang flood control and all that. We need an honest to goodness flood control. Pero tutukan yung mga tamang priorities for infra. Like the ones I said nga, highways, sana nga bago matapos si BBM, makumpleto nila hanggang Lawag, yung expressway, hanggang Bicol, tapos Tulay. That's trend. Para sa
for me, the implementing rules and regulation for some of the new laws passed on, kasi it's one thing to pass a law, it's another thing to have the implementing rules. Marami pang hindi naayos. So I hope maayos talaga sa susunod na Senado yan. Bro, what about you going back to, kasi they say the thing with national is it's more about name recognition, name recall. It's more vibes, if I can put it that way. That's why you get the Robin Hood types of the world there. But in local, actually, mas mahirap siya kasi you have to know the community. There should be some sort of machinery. So actually, paradoxically, mas mahirap yung local. In a way, right? So how are you gonna get around those issues? What is your strategy?
Well,
kasi independent ka sorry, I'm just asking.
No, actually, tama yung tanong mo kasi originally I was thinking what Mark was thinking. Senate's easier because 12 yan. Number 1. Number 2, my reach. Social media is wider. Diba? Exactly. Now, the problem is when running for Mandaluyong, I'm not going to be able to get a lot of my voters that are not in Mandaluyong to be able to vote. But there's a way to do it. So what you do is, we were talking about it, Mark and I, before we went on the show. I'm going to go around and talk to every barangay captain. I'm going to have a meeting with them. And then I'm going to find out what their position is, if they're willing to support me or not. And regardless of whether they're willing to support, I also want to know ano ba yung mga gusto nilang baguhin when it comes to the current administration, local administration, and what are some of the laws that they want to be able to implement. And I want to support them in that, regardless of whether they support me or not. Next, to be able to do that, I need to be able to create events that are going to gather people towards me. Yun yung may plano ako pero I haven't thrashed it out yet, so I don't want to say anything until I thrash it out. One thing I was going to do talaga was I was going to organize a marathon. And I was going to say talaga tatakbo ko. And literally tatakbo ko.
Fun run.
Yeah, I'm going to do like a Forrest Gump where I'm going to run one activity. I'm going to run all over Mandaluyong. Every part of tatakbuhin ko lahat ng mga...
Man. Yeah, you can pull it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna run every street of Mandaluyong and I'm gonna put it on video.
That's disruptive shit.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, so...
That's good
Let's
stuff.
join him.
Yeah.
Count me in.
Oh,
Sama
yan.
ako dyan.
That's good stuff, man.
So,
Need the exercise.
di ba? So, I'm really gonna say, tatakbo talaga ako. And talagang tatakbuhin ko yung buong Mandaluyong. And then, I'm going to get a pledge from people. If I run every street in Mandaluyong or whatever route I take inside Mandaluyong, how much do you pledge? So, that's how I'm gonna do my fundraising.
You think that would be enough to counter the vote buying and all of the shenanigans?
Okay, so I don't... maybe I'm naive. I would like to believe there's not...
still some space for others.
Yeah, especially when talk about local officials and in Mandaluyong. Remember that in Mandaluyong, the Gonzales and Abalos have never really been contested.
Yeah.
Since 1986.
Essentially since democracy.
Since democracy started, right? Yun ang nangyari nga sa Davao
Democracy's returned,
and even in Makati and a lot of other cities.
right,
It's always the case. So, what if we give them a legitimate run for their money?
Yeah.
In a way to put it. I don't believe the vote buying will prosper versus that, because if it did, Vico wouldn't have won. Vico showed that it's possible. Even Isko showed that it's possible.
Leni also,
Leni.
national level.
Yeah,
So
on a
what
national level.
So we have many good examples. I mean, still you can be skeptical and say it's like one out of many, but that's how change starts.
Yes.
Right? It's first trickle, and then it's a
Yep.
flood. Yeah.
I was asking him kanina kasi pinag-uusapan din nga namin. So ako, syempre pinag-iisipan ko din kung tatakbo ba akong konsehal sa amin.
Yeah.
Ang isa sa mga usual na problems when they find out that you're running is yung pong anak ko nasa
Yeah, hingan ka
ospital.
talaga.
Yan,
Yeah.
oo, yung may namatay po yung
Yeah.
ano po namin. So I was asking him how he's going to handle yung the amount of people
Yung
na
welfare needs, yeah.
knocking your house, in your gate.
Yeah.
Sir, wala po kaming makain, wala po
Mag-crowdfunding ka na lang. Maybe
Yun
that's a
ang-
good idea. Crowdfunding for barangays and communities. That's where you can leverage it. All right, I think I'm putting you guys too much under scrutiny, but I just wanted to say kasi dami nag-comment. Ayan na naman si Richard. Tapang sa lahat, and then pagkaibigan niya, mabait siya. So wait lang, we're gonna get there. So I think we had a mini... Di ko na muna kayo i-fast talk. So next one, we're gonna catch up, i-fast talk ko na kayo, di ba? So I think by that time, medyo mas ready na kayo. So magpasalamat kayo sa akin. I got you ready for...
Thank God. Actually, I just didn't realize you were
This
gonna
is
ask me those questions.
Yeah, so this is supposed to be parang dry run to.
Now,
Now,
pag naka-debate pa, di ba?
yeah, now discuss naman natin the bigger political landscape. So that's the beauty of people like you throwing your hat into the ring. It's like MMA fighters analyzing other MMA fights, right?
Right.
Speaking of that, what do you think about this latest meeting between Leni and BBM? For me, kasi what stood out is, first of all, they look very statesman-like. Everyone was just smiling, everything like that. I don't think na mukhang plastikan. I also don't think na it looked like yung conspiracy ng DDS na nagsama yung dalawang camp. I don't think so. I think it just proved that Leni is a national figure, is very important, and that Leni can talk to all sides. Kasi ako, the reason why nag-react ako ng very aggressively, I just felt, this is Duterte, this is ganyan. But I was wondering, like, but would she also be okay to meet BBM and all of that? But now that I've seen her
Answered your
effortlessly
questions.
meeting all of them and no effort, then that's good. That just means Sara people cannot make a big deal out of it because you already meet BBM. So what? Diba? So I think that's very important. Although I found it subtly important too that my picture, yung with BBM, pero walang picture yung with Sara. Right? That was subtle, right? I was like, yeah, sorry. So I'm happy. Actually, I'm happy. So I'm not. My stance is very clear. Because there was some misperception na baka because anti-Marcos yung positioning Leni, na baka there will be this, but actually that was the line of, the bloggers on the other side. So thanks to Ma'am Leni, among others, for shutting it down. And I think what's also important in that picture is that you see a lot of pink. Bam Aquino is there, pink.
Yeah.
Leni is there, kind of in a hues of pink. Parang may Camille Villar in the background na
Yes.
hindi naka-orange.
Yep.
So, and the BBM was kind of not too far away from pink, parang white siya or something. So I don't know, the color coordination was very interesting. What do you think about this meeting, bro? Before mabash na naman ako.
Well, ako for me, I've never thought of it as a big deal to begin with. That's why I was surprised that you and that former Senator Trillanes was getting a lot
Hindi
of
ito
heat.
orchestrated, we did it separately. Yeah,
I know,
just to be clear.
I know, and
They make it look as if nag-coordinate.
Oh nga pero when that happened, I was like, okay guys, so Sonny Trillanes had his perspective perspective, no need to bash him. Much like you have your perspective, nobody's bashing you. Ganun lang. And I respect Sonny Trillanes a lot for what he stood for, what he's done, and his unwavering principles. But at the same time, I understand Leni naman.
Yeah.
And even Leni, I'm sure, understood Sonny Trillanes and said, yeah, he's entitled to his opinion. No big deal.
Yeah.
The people making such a big fuss out of it should not be making a big fuss. But I understand, of course, the optics. Now, when it comes to what...
Yun nga issue. The issue was not the decency and good intentions of Leni. Wala naman kaming tanong. At saka this was a religious festival. I understand, all due respect. Ang akin lang exact is the optics, baka ma-weaponize ito ng kabila, timing, kasi baka ma-impeach na siya. So it was more like that. So I felt unfair naman na parang well, Sonny Trillanes can speak for himself, but on my side, I never questioned Leni's character. I felt they were like shutting me down to say anything critical. I just felt that was wrong.
Right. No, for me it was like this. More than shutting you down, it's this. I think lang that Leni, to begin with, she's not a public figure in a sense that she's not in government. Excuse me, that's what I meant. She's not in government anymore. Now, I understand, of course, she can still influence.
She's running for office.
Oh, yeah, right now she's running, right. But that time she wasn't running yet, right? So she was in a position where, hey, listen, as a private citizen, she could do whatever she wants.
Above the fray ako.
Oh, and you know, people want to take advantage of that's up to them. I don't think it really made that much of a difference in the bigger picture of things because, my God, VP Sara is facing a lot of heat. That even that will not be able to save her the way I see it. Now, talking about what happened with Leni and BBM, I loved it. I thought it was amazing, and you could see there was a mutual respect naman for each other's position and where they are.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
That's my point. Let's agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Why should we bash each other? I
Yeah.
never bash Leni. I just questioned the implication of what she did. But
Right.
all respect
But
to Ma'am Leni.
but Leni bashed BBM. So, pero when
Noon, elections, pero not now.
Pero not now. Not now. You know, so I appreciated the fact that BBM was cordial about it, and he didn't take it personally. He was still friendly and hi hello, and accorded Leni that respect as well. Even though Leni was not a not in public office, there was still that respect accorded. I loved it, and even having Bam Aquino there, it was good to see all of them together. And you know, naman that their rivalry is political. That's it. It's not personal. I think that's where the difference is kasi with the Dutertes where it's becoming very personal eh.
We'll talk about Dutertes kasi ibang usapan ng corruption, anong nangyari 30 years
Yes.
ago. Ibang usapan, dami namatay nung last
Yes.
other year. Medyo levels kasi yan eh.
Yep.
Levels yan. Mark, dahil ba Marcos tapos Mark, medyo similar kayong mabait ni BBM? Ganun ba? Is there something with the
I
name?
like that segue.
It's like,
Diba? Ngayon ko lang na-realize.
Paras kayo silang, conflict avoidance silang pareho eh. A compliment by the way. Yeah.
So, masyadong, syempre, naano din ako na, uy, nice si Leni tsaka si BBM. Nagkita, shook hands, and they were cordial with each other. Pero parang nawala din nga sa isip ko na, nga pala, Bam is an Aquino, no? Tapos Marcos, no? So,
exactly.
yung aside from Leni and BBM, bago mag-away yung dalawang yan, yung Marcos and the Aquinos have been feuding for the last 40 years. So it's nice then to see BBM and Bam Aquino together and being nice to each other doon sa event ni Senator Cheese, ni Senate President Cheese. Pero yung issue kasi nung pag-visit nung kay Sara, 'di ba ang nabanggit ko din naman doon sa podcast episode natin before.
Right.
This is about the future of the opposition eh. Yun naman ang at the top of it all kung paano ba tatawa naman si Richard.
Binalik mo na.
Binalik ko na naman.
I've been trying to avoid that conversation.
No, but we need to kailangan pag-usapan kasi 2028 is 3.5 years away.
Okay.
Diba? And the pink side would need to decide. Ano ba tayo? Leni
So you're
ba
essentially
tayo?
saying
Or
Riza
ba tayo?
na versus Leni pa rin, essentially.
May ganong debate na nangyayari. And that's a healthy debate kasi all parties need to talk about that. What is the best natin moving forward? And dapat siguro at this point sabay silang, they need to lead this coalition together to make sure that Bam wins, that Kiko wins. Kailangan nilang magtulungan ngayon. But in 2028, ano bang strategy natin? Are we going for the presidency? How will that affect pag tumakbo itong si Sara? How will that affect kung tumakbo itong si Tulfo? Are we expanding our numbers? 'Di ba? Kung manalo manalo si Sonny Trillanes, we will have a base sa Caloocan. Kung manalo si so like si Cheese Escudero, could he possibly join
Na naman.
hindi could we get him over to our side? May ganong may ganong
Yeah, but he was with the Leni slate, diba?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
anong
Pero hindi
20
official, 'di ba? Parang as a
but
guest
he was
candidate.
there more or less, yeah.
Pero yun nga, the relationship is
I think yata si Hart at some point, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't
yeah.
understand.
So yun. So pero in 2028, we don't know kung kanino sasama si Cheese. So so I mean
Long conversation.
pero we start to talk about it na kasi we are 3.5 years away from that. And of course, it's sila Sara and the Maisug people. All lahat ng focus nila aside from the Davao race is sa 2028 na. So
is Sarah really gonna run ba? I mean, ano, parang she seems hesitant. I don't know if I'm
For
reading.
2028?
Yeah.
Well, she first has to survive impeachment. I
Yeah.
will talk about the Dutertes and Quadcom shortly, but tapusin muna natin to kasi mahalaga to.
opposition,
I want to ask you because you did a lot of on the ground lives and vlogs from the Pink movement and all of that. The reading we have, and again, tama yung sinabi ni Mark, let's have a healthy discussion. This is not about hating Leni. Hindi
Yep.
siya either or eh.
Oh,
Hindi naman siya either or eh.
kasi the influence of Leni is very, very,
Yeah,
very
kaya nga,
strong.
yun ang
Yeah.
point ko. The way it looks to me is that intact pa rin yung base ni Leni. Na
Yeah.
pwede
Very
na
much.
i-deploy.
Yep.
Now, of course, the other side of that is hindi napunta sa kabila yung base na yan. At the same time, there's another debate. See, I'm very fair. The other debate is, well, hindi mo naman mapilit ang tao kung gusto lang talaga nila si Leni. Maybe Riza is not necessarily their cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? So, because the argument of Trillanes, and even this comes up in the RM discussion, is maybe the lesson from 2022 is that you have to start very early. 2025 is tough. Medyo mahirap. I was just with Justice Carpio kahapon on our conversation. Sabi niya, talagang masikip to. So, naintindihan ko bakit si Chel Jokno, si Leila de Lima ay hindi nila tumakbo sa Senado.
Yep.
But 2028, there's probably enough time. But kung hindi ka sigurado kay Riza ka ba or kay Leni ka ba, maybe that's suboptimal. But the counter-argument, again, the other argument is that, hintayin natin yung survey. Kasi kung lalabas talaga sa survey, Leni pa rin, because the survey still show Leni's number 3 after Tulfo and Sara, then Leni pa rin. Then so what? Then she'll have another try, di ba? So, where are you on that? Kasi ako, my meaning is, let's talk about it without hating each other. Yun lang naman sa akin eh.
You know, for me, I think it's too early to tell, and I've always noticed that yung mga nananalo is the one that announces
Late.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Think about it. Binay announced very early what happened. He got bashed to death and lahat ng baho niya lumabas and wala. That lead eventually dissipated and we don't even hear about him anymore. Duterte was a last minute wishy-washy, I'm gonna run, I'm not gonna run, and eventually ran and won.
Leni did that in 2022. She ran literally on the 11th hour.
Oh yeah, and she 2022.
Yeah,
Leni ran like
Right.
Sabi, she
diba?
was-
Right.
I see your argument, except that's what happened.
No, okay.
Marcos also, pero they were preparing before that.
Yeah.
3 months na nila
So-
negotiate
they
yan.
were,
Na-leak na yan eh.
Okay. Well, anyway, all I'm saying is this. Right now, I think
But I agree with you.
it's
Na,
too
you don't
early.
want to be a leader soon.
Yeah, you don't wanna peak too early.
Frontrunner, yeah.
Especially in the polling. You don't wanna peak too early. And I think one of the candidates potential candidates already peaked so early that I think
You mean Sara?
she's gonna lose that lead. She's already losing the
She
lead.
lost the lead to Rafi Tulfo, but the problem of Tulfo, which we'll discuss now, is he'll have 2 more brothers coming in, and if one of them tops the race, then baka sabi niya, ako na lang tatapong presidente, baka mamaya mag-aawanan pa yung mga kapatid niya.
Tapos Tulfo versus Tulfo.
Split yan.
Wala. Then that's gonna be bad for the country. So
Exactly. It's weird. So I think we have discussed enough about this without getting into trouble again. But I want to, last point on this. I think, Mark, you have some strong feelings about this, yung cancel culture, napansin natin. Ako kasi, Mark, napansin mo, especially on Twitter, I'm very aggressive. I call out.
yeah, you
But
do.
I still meet these people in person, interview them for my TV. Like, so, or I mean, so parang ako, I make a distinction between policy disagreement or even sometimes personal criticism. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna burn all
Attack the
bridges
person,
and then.
oh.
I mean, I met Digong, I met BBM, I met Leni. Like even if Chris, I still talk to them, right? So, what do you think about the cancel culture? Because I remember nung with Isko and Leni, it got really, really ugly, and it's like both sides canceling each other. It became really ugly. really horrible. Yung press conference ni Isko, nagwala na siya, meltdown na siya. What do you think about that? Yeah.
Ako personally, I'm against all forms of, ito personal ko lang to, I'm
Yeah,
against
yeah.
all forms of cancel culture, kahit kanino pa yan, kahit yung mga biggest critics ko, kahit yung mga nambabash sa akin, I will never tell anyone na i-report natin yung page niya, i-report natin. Yan ang pinakaayaw ko. Sa akin, ang comment ko lang doon sa pink side, okay? Doon sa, napapansin ko kasi sa inyo, I mean, sa mga viewers mo.
Liberals, yeah.
Oh, sa liberals and progressive. Ang hilig i-cancel culture, yung kakampi mo na. So yun yun ang hindi ko magets eh. Yun ang major part na hindi ko. Walang masama mag-disagree sila with you. We can debate. Pero yung para i-cancel culture mo, yung kakampi mo na. That would make your opponent stronger. That would, 'di ba? Kung if you're going to exert that much effort to canceling someone, why not use it on doon na sa kabila? Diba? yung pwersa ng
Pero a part of me, please correct me. I think some people have just given up hope na kaya nila influence yung kabila. So ano na yan, parang cannibalism na lang. Patayan na lang tayo kasi di na natin. It's like, it's like a people under siege in the fortress and then they start killing each other on what to do. Kasi manatalo din tayo. Hindi. So for me, that's really bad. That's downward spiral.
Para some people would rather be morally right sa
pure
sa pakiramdam nila instead of winning.
Instead of
diba?
Instead of helping people. Because you have to win to help people.
Yeah.
How are you gonna help people? Diba?
Yeah, yun. So yun ang medyo ano ko lang din sa pagdating sa cancel culture. Na wag yung kakampi kasi kakampi mo na yan eh. 'Di ba? Pag nagkaanuhan, 'di ba? You could, for example, si Richard, they can be sure na kapag nagkadikdikan, kumbaga you'll do what's right, you'll do what ano. So
it goes down to they know where people are gonna stand. That's what's important. But here and there magkaka-disagreements. Ikaw, what do you think, bro, about this whole cancel culture? How can we call out people rightly without also canceling, creating this rage baiting, di ba? Kumbaga yung ganun.
Yeah, well, to begin with, cancel culture used to be probably more popularly known as the mob mentality. Right? The bandwagon effect of the mob mentality where, tara, lahat tayo. Yeah, sure. And people love to jump on that train. Now, sa akin, I'm not a fan of cancel culture. I don't think anyone is. But it's not something that you can control. It happens on both sides. It happens on all sides. I can name so many instances where cancel culture, like for example, Shopee. Alam mo yung nangyari with si Tony Gonzaga ba yun? They got her as an endorsement and people were saying, cancel mo yan, cancel ang Shopee, don't support Shopee. And then I sent my Shopee link because I'm an affiliate. Pucha, I got so much hate. They're like, why are you supporting Shopee? I'm like, dude, listen. I go, alam mo, they got Tony Gonzaga, let it be. You don't need to cancel these businesses. They provide a service and a lot of people benefit from them. So let's just let it be. But then I don't really care to disagree with people. If you want to cancel, you go for it.
Yeah.
And let's see if you get the momentum. Okay, if the majority does it, then the majority does it. I'm not the type to say let's stop cancel culture because I think it is societal. It's something that you can be against, but can you stop it? You can preach about stopping it, but then again, I think the mob rule will rule at the end of the day.
Ako, again, feel free to disagree with me. For me, I think there's some people who are just beyond the pale.
Yeah,
Diba? I think they deserve to be canceled in the sense that, like, if there's someone who openly says, let's go kill and rape people and whatever, I don't think we should give them platform.
Well, our former president is that, exactly. So
not the platform. So that's why I never tried to interview the former president.
Okay.
But with this current president, I'm not necessarily against it categorically. If there's a proper opportunity and platform, I'm okay to interview BBM.
Right.
But with Digong, I just felt there's no way around it because baka mapatay pa ako. But aside from that, I just don't think I will get a fair answer. If anything, baka magamit pa yung conversation to justify the killing. So for me, hindi ko ma-share yung platform. Like the farthest I could go is to debate one of his top propagandists. But that was it. It was a one-off. And then ayoko na, sabi ko, that's it. I've done my job. And I got so bashed by the other side for platforming them and all of that. So ako feeling ko, there's a very small number of people talagang you have to deplatform them. Or at least not give them platform because baka But that's my side. You can disagree with me.
Yeah, I was gonna say kasi
No,
if
free
you're
speech absolutist
yeah,
ka siguro.
you're
Ako hindi, case-to-case study ako.
yeah, ako if you're gonna say don't do cancel culture, don't do it. There's no let's apply that principle equally and to all. Either walang cancel culture or meron. Ganun
Kasi
ako.
case-to-case basis.
Yeah. I
It's-
mean,
it's hard. It's hard. Yes.
yeah, it is. And but I don't blame you because that's what I mean by then that's your opinion and that's
Yeah.
your choice. Now if you can get a majority to support you, then there you go. Then you get to cancel. If you don't, then you don't. Ganun lang. And that's how it works,
I
really.
mean, I tried, right? With si Banat Bay, di ba? I challenged the war on drugs openly and all of that. So I said,
Ganda ng conversation nila.
I mean, it was very heated and all of that. But I just felt, bahala ng tao musika kung tama yung sinabi
A
ko
good
rin.
example din here is Kibuloy eh. Like yung ginawa ng YouTube kay Kibuloy, 'di ba? They platformed Kibuloy kasi he is wanted by sa FBI. So inalis yung YouTube niya, inalis yung ano niya. So yun yung magandang case eh for the case of Kibuloy, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Ano ba?
Criminal na kasi.
Oo eh. Kung merong ano eh. So
Are you for it or against it?
yung pagtanggal ng YouTube.
Ah.
Kasi the thing is, it's in their policy eh.
Yeah. Yun na nga eh.
Wala kang ano eh.
Hindi mo sinagot, bro.
Yeah. So
So you're okay with that?
Kumbaga, business nila yan eh.
Yeah.
I have no business.
So you're respecting the rules of the
The
game.
rules of their ano eh.
Okay,
So
okay.
parang wala akong ano to.
So you're not gonna cancel YouTube for canceling them. So you see what we're getting into here? This kind of a dialectical spiral, no? Yeah, this is, I think, very good conversation. This is a segue to Duterte's, right? Because we can make all sorts of criticism of Marcos Jr. and on this platform, among others, we criticize the PhilHealth fund transfers. I completely agree with because some people criticize both me and Christian Esguerra daw, bakit purong Duterte yung content namin, wala masyado dun sa ibang departments, bakit purong confidential. Well, so if I have a research team of I'll go through each of them, right? I have no problem. But realistically, I can only focus on the worst cases, and in my opinion, Duterte's are the worst. And I had a column earlier this week, Duterte, the worst president ever.
Yep.
I still put a question mark out of, courtesy for the sake of debate because I want to open up the debate. You have been making similar argument. Ako kasi for me, ibang level yung allegations sa Duterte's, and is it really just allegation, right? Now, you're talking about mass murder.
Yeah.
And even worse than Marcos Sr. because Marcos Sr. was there 21 years.
Yep.
Kasi di ko wala pang 4 years nalampasan
Yeah.
niya.
Actually, on 2 years, on the second year, nalampasan na niya.
I'm just even being nice with the numbers of the
Oh
government.
yeah, sure, yeah.
I'm using the government numbers
Yep.
to 4 years. If I use the legit, Transparency International, whatever, Human Rights Watch numbers, yes. And not to mention, at least si Marcos Sr. hindi duwag sa China. He actually built their facilities in West Philippines. But that doesn't mean okay yung ginawa niya. I'm just saying, to put into perspective, if there are people who think Marcos Sr. was the worst, I would put Duterte in a different category. And ipso facto, BBM, who's not a dictator last time I checked, at least so far, will not be in the same category. Right?
Yep.
I'm not saying okay si BBM. I'm just saying ibang category to eh. Kaya sabi ko, in theory, I'm more comfortable with the idea of interviewing BBM than Digong back in the day. But again, is Duterte the worst ever president for you? I mean, as an amateur historian, if I can put it that way. Yeah.
You know my answer. We've talked about this, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe we did it on air.
Kasi noon wala pa yung quad comment all eh.
Ah.
Kasi, I mean, the world can still, wala si Garma, I mean, sariling mga ano.
Alam mo, it's so obvious naman kasi what Digong did. Actually, what surprises me is that nobody is still indicting him or nobody's charging him because of the fact of all his pronouncements. He already admitted using the confidential funds to kill people. Galing sa sarili niyang bibigyan. He already admitted several times to killing people. He seems to even celebrate in the idea that he can make such pronouncements and admissions and nobody can do anything about it. He already said so many times na about, yun na nga, na kaibigan niya itong mga pogos at walang problema sa kanila and formally, lagot ang mga Senado for even investigating formally. Kinakalaban niya ang sarili niyang bansa against all the people, his cohorts or the allies or the people that benefited from his presidency. And that's what surprises me is that nobody's doing anything about it. Digong, yes, for me is the worst president ever. We agree on that. Kasi First, the mass murders, number one. Number two, favoring another country as the sitting president.
Are you saying treasonous?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You're the president. You're the president of the Philippines, and you allow a Chinese Navy ship to dock in Davao, and then you allowed Chinese military jets to dock in Davao, and they were docking with empty. These were empty vessels, walang laman. And what was inside those things? What were you putting or pulling out of that? And he wouldn't even tell anyone.
Stem cell daw, stem cell.
Tapos and plus the fake war on drugs. That's the worst part of it. You know, the human rights violations. Now, I'm gonna add lang, I know that mga DDS, yung mga natitirang konting DDS that are still saying na, pero tignan mo, kagaya sabi ni Bongo, yung katahimikan na na-enjoy nating mga Pilipino dahil sa ginawa ni Duterte. So, inaamin mo nga may ginawa si Duterte, number one. Number two, yung usapan na nagkaroon ng peace and order. Even Goma said it, diba? There's peace and order. Okay.
Sabi ni Richard Gomez.
Sure. Let's look at statistics, okay? We all agree that we all want peace and order. We want less crime, right? But less crime without the abuses by the PNP, without the abuses of government, without the corruption, without mga dayuhan actually invading our country. Without all of that, that's what I want. Unfortunately, the one in power took advantage of this war on drugs to be able to propel himself and all his the people around him to riches and to steal from the government. Now, nanahimik ang Pilipinas, diba? Sabi nila during the time of Duterte. Guess what? Crime numbers are actually down in the time of Marcos by 60 or 70%. The crime volume went down from 190,000.
BBM.
No, I'm just saying, it really is from 100.
Cool pulse yun eh.
Parang
every time BBM.
190,000
You saw what I did.
na volume, it went down to 73,000.
Oh, shout out Secretary Abalos.
Exactly.
Mandaluyong, here we come.
Mandaluyong represent.
That number
Fire shot.
that number really impressed me. And then that's when you can see
Kalaban ng kriminal, pero yung kalaban at kriminal lang nakikita.
pero tingnan mo to Abalos did it without having to kill people.
Yes, exactly. The same
Without
sa amin, Baguio, Magalong.
Magalong, exactly.
Yeah,
you didn't have to
walang JK sa amin.
kill people, but people were not being killed by the police, and you still got peace and order.
Exactly.
And people weren't afraid. That's the problem
Pasig rin.
Oh, Pasig.
I wanted to say, alam na Mark, saan mo kaming mga background information. I won't mention other cities because, I got weird information here and there. Mark, kasi one is, for me, just in my journalistic fairness, let the evidence and all come out before I make that final judgment, although I already implied that all the time, di ba? Now, medyo mahirap. But the other thing is, pabaksak din yung popularity ng Duterte. Di ba? Kulelat sila, walang tumakbo sa Senate. Si Baste, na-demote pa sa vice mayor na lang. Si Polong, medyo alanganin siguro kay Migs Nograles. Digong, well, he's gonna win it most likely. But
You think?
I
don't know.
What I'm hearing.
But is he gonna finish his term? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look good. I mean, I don't know, man. So even if Carl Nogales loses this round, if he keeps it close, and then basta yung next round, good luck sa inyo.
Yeah, and isn't it true though? I think that is the rumor going around that the only reason Digong is running is because they knew that Baste was not liked by any of the councilors or any of the people around him, and they're all saying that he's really a bad mayor. So when they found out through the grapevine that Nograles was gonna run, then Digong said, "Ako na lang." Yun pero my God, if you listen to Digong's reasons on why he's running, it's ridiculous. I'm actually going to do a video
Digong
about
and
it.
reasons, I mean, the same sentence. I'm not sure, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so pero ito lang masasabi ko with Digong running. Honestly, there was a good comment that was made on one of my videos, the one I did about Nograles and Duterte. Sabi nila, alam mo, we really believe that Duterte is running because of his lust for blood. Because when you've been a mass murderer for the last 36 years of your life. Actually, he's been killing even while he was in college. He admitted killing a fellow law student.
Siya,
Yeah. So he's already had that lust for blood, and he got away with it back then. And he got away with it on the 30 years as mayor. Can you imagine somebody who's nasa DNA mo na yan eh. Hinahanap mo yung pagpatay ng tao. That's your dopamine fix. That is a megalomaniac to the level of Hitler, to the level of Napoleon Bonaparte. Psychopath that loves the power and this grand illusion of grandeur that he is God. He calls himself Superman. Okay? He wants people to call him.
Insulted the Lord. I mean, this guy is
He
like,
thinks he's God. So he's above the law. So in this
well,
sense.
he was best friend of son of.
Oh yeah, there you go. The Son of God.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Sure. So
I don't know what dynamic they got, but
so it's like they're Trinity.
I don't
Okay.
know, man. It's
So
crazy stuff. So you're saying no question he's worst by far, even if as we were critical about all the kapalpakan. Kasi ako naman, kung katamaran ang usapan, yes, close fight, Digong, Erap. Kung corruption scandals, Arroyo, Duterte. If, EJK, Senior Duterte. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
foreign policy, he's like way ahead of everyone else.
Yun, exactly. So if you look at it on several categories, talagang panalo si Digong sa pagiging worst president.
I'm willing to go up to Aguinaldo and make still that argument.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
I'm willing to go like first the public.
Kahit yung mga under Japan, no?
Kahit isama po si Laurel, I'm willing to argue that the collaboration with Japan saved more lives, I mean, I'm talking about Laurel, than this guy collaborating with China and dami namatay sa I'm just saying, like, even if you play the historian card, I'm willing to stand by that ground. Shout out kay Ambet Ocampo and our friends, the historians. Go ahead, but yeah, I mean, that's crazy. But what are we learning in the Quadcom that could be politically explosive? Mark, sa tingin mo, I mean, we discussed this a little bit in RRM, but since last week our conversation, you think the Garma thing, the Kervin Espinosa thing, the Espanido thing, I'll go back to Mr. Hearing an analyst here kasi ito talaga, how explosive do you think na ex-lover of the president potentially serving as a chief witness for the whole, eto na yung totoong Matrix talaga, yung Matrix na totoo, hindi yung kay Jollibee at saka kay si Edu Manzana
At saka si Hidlin Diaz. Lahat sinali na.
Nainggit ako, di ako nilagay doon nun eh. So, eto na yung totoong Matrix, meron na tayong idea. So, what do you think about that?
Ayun, kasi kumbaga, the people on the top nung panahon na yun are starting to feel the pressure na eh. Kumbaga, the building up is from the ICC and dun sa Quadcom and dun sa lahat ng... So, ako I'm really interested to see what else we would find out dun sa mga pangyayari. Kasi we all heard about it. It was an open secret nga dun sa mga police and sa mga pero yung level o yung degree nung how they were doing it and kung paano nila and how much and kung sino yung who was carrying it out, who was
it matters, no? Details matter. Kasi you can have a spectral, abstract idea of a horrible thing. It's like war. Someone says, ang dami namamatay sa Gaza. And then you see people being burned alive by a bomb. Medyo iba yung effect. You see a mangled child losing the head. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like we don't...
And yung evidence talaga.
In your face.
It really matters talaga as to hearsay or yung naririnig natin or yung pinag-uusapan nila doon. So ito may actual na affidavit, may actual na evidence, may actual na mga nagte-testify. So mabigat eh.
Pero tingin mo ba si Garma is just an innocent bystander as she claims to be?
No one believes that. No. Come on,
everyone
knows.
See, that's my worry about her.
Makakasuhan siya, diba?
Yan ang takot ko nga doon sa kanyang affidavit. Kasi when you make an affidavit, you're claiming that that's the truth, right? That's a sworn statement.
So you're saying the veracity will be questioned?
Yes, because she
got herself scot-free too much.
Of course, she says, kayo lahat alam niyo yan. You all participated. I just knew about it. What the heck? Are you serious? See, bakit kaya isipin mo, paano namatay si Barayuga? I mean, come on. You were
how it started.
Yeah, you're the PCO chair and you admitted that you got a phone call from a friend out of nowhere saying na Barayuga is doing drugs. And then you happen to mention it to Leonardo and then Leonardo acted on it on his own. Come on.
Just to be clear, Leonardo is the chief operating officer, COO of this whole drug war operation. So if they're going CEO, he's the COO, right?
Yeah, parang ganon. Yeah. And not just that. Now, then after that, he became Napolcom, di ba?
Definitely.
Which is like that's the ano tawag mo doon yung internal affairs Napolcom and how do you find fault when the person in charge of looking for fault in the police is the head of the freaking
Well, isn't that what Bato and Bongo want? They will investigate themselves in the Senate. Isn't that ridiculous?
Oo, sobrang conflict of interest naman yung gusto nilang mangyari doon na sila yung kakausap kay Tatay Digong, sila yung
Pero actually, sorry, going back, I would love them to have their own hearing kasi feeling ko Jonathan Morales na naman. May dudulas sa...
Oo.
Sige na si Dico. Ewan kay Bato na yan, inutos ko yan. Hindi na ginawa yung pinatay lang niya. Gagagano siya. I'm sure actually I want it to happen. Para lang pagtawanan natin.
No, I'll tell you. I have this theory on Duterte sa mental capacity.
Acuity, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly,
Dudulas yan.
hindi madudulas. He will admit it. I think Duterte will incriminate himself not because he wants to, but because he can't help himself.
hubris niyan.
Oo, yung ayaw niya kasi na kine-question siya. He hates it. He hates it when media questions him. That's why whenever media says to him, "Are you going to do this?" "Hell, you know I'm gonna do it." Papatayin ko talaga
So
yun.
between his ego and his political he'll choose his ego.
Versus political survival. Yes.
Psychopath.
Yes, psychopath.
If he's a psychopath, psychopaths don't care.
Psychopaths want to admit they committed a crime. They want you to try to catch them.
They'll boast it pa.
Yeah, the Ted Bundys, they do that. They're trying for you to catch them and see if you can.
Yeah.
Kaya nga nung Ted Bundy is a classic case of a psychopath. He really said na, yeah, I did it. Tapos try to
So tama ako na ituloy na yan. Kasi,
ituloy talaga,
kasi
whether it's
from what I
Quadcom or
saw,
Senate.
Ito problema ko pag tinuloy sa Senate. Who will stand up to Digong?
No.
Risa will.
Risa will.
Risa lang, no? Si Risa lang.
Speaking of Risa,
So,
di ba?
so siguro
kaya niya yan.
dalawa kami ni Risa doon.
Yun.
Magka-quadcom kami doon sa Senado.
Oh.
Hindi kasi yung mga senador parang ang soft eh. Kung
Yes.
ikukumpara mo sa, 'di ba? Kung ikukumpara mo sa
Sa Congress, yeah.
No, but in fairness to Riza, so she tried to immediately checkmate this because I think everyone cried foul about, like, wait, yung ininvestiga, mag-investigation.
Oh, galing nung ginawa niya.
So immediately she said, wait, bakit si Bato ang mag-overseeing hearing? Let the Senate President do it.
Yeah.
So siguro habang nag-ayos ng eyebrows or Paris Fashion Week, yayan niya na because I don't think Cheese will, in fairness kay Cheese, he's a smart guy and I think he's smart enough to realize he cannot look pro-Digong or shielding them. But ako, I still like the crazy idea of Bato overseeing it. It will go and Digong feeling comfortable.
Yeah, we'll just say everything.
Yeah, spill all the beans. Gagana si Bato doon. Yeah.
Pero alam mo, I look at Digong. If you ever seen the movie A Few Good Men,
Yes, of course.
Colonel Jessup, Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson, yung character niya, yan si Digong eh. Yung I made the order and I don't
Proud
wanna...
pa siya, yeah.
Oh, because you don't want to have to deny you made the order. Kasi nga, and he even said, you're living with the comfort that I provide you, with the security I provide. So don't question the method of
It's
how I
that
provide
mindset.
it.
Yeah.
It is exactly how Duterte is.
Ganun nga, no?
Kaya I'm telling
That's
you,
a
if
good
you put
method.
him on the stand,
He will do that.
he will say it because he hates the fact that he's gonna be questioned by Kabataan Representative Manuel or si Franz Castro. Pag humarap si Franz Castro, mumurahin niya yan. Oh, sabi niya.
Dapat nga pinatay ko kayo.
Oh!
Sabi niya, alam mo, ito kasi tanga tong
Yeah.
inutusan ko, di ka pinatay. I'm sure he'll say that shit.
He will. And then, but the question is, kasi I think he still believes that the Congress and the government agencies and BBM will not have the balls to actually cite him in contempt or worse, charge him with a felony because what he did is a felony. Hindi siya exempt doon. Kaya if BBM wants to increase his ratings,
This
if
would be
he
good.
did that, my God, I'll tell
Actually,
you, shoots up the roof.
Mark, I want to also get your idea on this, diba? Parang Duterte is the kind of a madman theory, right?
Yep.
I'm just gonna go so crazy, you'll think twice before crossing me. The problem is that you cannot do that forever. If you do that forever, madness is the method. Hindi na siya the method in the madness. And we see that, diba? I mean, the reason why watak-watak itong unit team is not because of BBM. It's because napuno na si First Lady. Na everyday, binabastos niya yung asawa ko, bating baste na...
Oh, yeah, that was so
Ano,
bad.
Parang, what the heck? Tapos tumatawa pa si Sarah. Otherwise, if it's just up to BBM, paras kayo di ba? Conflict avoidant, may unit team pa rin.
Yun ang problem kay BBM.
Yun naman. Pero at least yung asawa niya, mahutak.
And si Martin Romualdez.
Yeah, so the adults yan, like, kami ng balad. Di ba? Kasi,
Yes.
Doon mo makita gaano ka suicidal politically si Digong. Wala siyang pake. He will just go there. And it's a hubris and it's also this delusion that as si Tatay Harry put it, it's to Duterte magic, which is, I'm not sure that black magic is working as much, right? What do you think about that? That Duterte is really digging his own grave here, and maybe you want to give him the final blow. Put him on a hearing and let him do a crazy. Parang he wants to go out with a bang.
Oh,
diba?
yeah.
Do the craziest.
I agree with you. I really want that hearing to happen. Let's go.
But good po, is that the nearest thing we're going to get of having Duterte on trial?
I don't think Duterte is going to attend. Yun lang. I really believe.
I really want him to.
I don't think he will. Kasi
Kung hindi
alam niya na.
Kung hindi si Bato, kung
Hindi,
hindi si...
feeling ko si
Kahit si Bato, hindi ang pupunta
Kahit si Bato,
dito.
hindi pa rin mag-attend.
Tingin ko hindi attend. I'd be surprised if he did. Because he will incriminate
Or
himself.
let's say, okay, for the sake,
Yung
he'll first attend na mukhang kawawa, matanda, and then wala pang 10 minutes, mainit na ulo niya.
Oh!
Wala na yan.
As soon as you ask him the hard questions that he hates, especially if a Riza Hontiveros
yung
asking
matrigger siya.
matitrigger yan.
Actually,
Bibigay yan.
And by the way, kahapon kausap ko si Justice Carpio, technically, the evidence gathered there could be also used by ICC.
Yes,
So actually, the Quadcom, and they're doing the legwork na for ICC. Ang maging negotiation lang mamaya is if ICC believes that now finally the Philippines is taking care of its business. Kasi di ba under the principle of complementarity, hindi pwede pumasok ang international courts if the domestic institutions are functioning. So now, ang debate is, oh, you're functioning very well, but do you still want me to come in? But nevertheless, you can see this, that this could be not the final trial. Baka madala pa rin sa Europe si Kuya, di ba? But this is interesting. Now, let's talk about Davao politics, no? Kasi the Nograleses are pretty smart people. I don't think they will run for office if they think they're completely hopeless. And if they don't think a lot of support is not coming in.
Yeah.
They're essentially the admin's bet right now. Di ba? Sabi ni Ronald, di ba, dadagsan sila ng grasya sa elections na yan.
Babaha talaga dyan.
Babaha ng grasya. So, speaking of Davao, I think some of our Davaoenyo friends have misunderstood me kasi sabi ko, I had experienced fantastic in Davao. I'm Ilocano, I'm very proud of Ilocano Baguio, but I would say mas warm pa sila. Mas warm pa sila in Davao. And I remember when I was in Davao 2018, I gave a talk at Ateneo de Davao. Fantastic treatment, etc. And then even sa airport, yung iba, if they recognize you, parang syempre, takot ako. Hindi, actually, parang they're willing to, parang sport sila, na even if criticize mo si Digong, I mean, and then the funniest experience I had in Davao was people in Davao asking me what I think about Duterte. And how is he performing in Manila? Kasi parang...
So they don't know your stance on Duterte?
No, they know my stance. And yet, parang curious sila, where is Richard getting all of this confidence to write a book about him, academic book, etc.? So they were genuinely curious. I mean, I had a talk at Ateneo de Davao, for instance, also there. And there were like all chair departments there. And each of them were asking me questions about Duterte. How do you analyze him at the national and international level? Because I would compare him to Bolsonaro, Trump, what is there, what is not
right
there. So parang my point is, it's only in comparison that you know what the person is. Kasi if you only know Davao and Duterte, you really don't know Duterte.
Yes.
It's only when you compare. So I brought that comparative perspective. So they really appreciated that. And they were very curious. Kamusta siya sa Manila? Parang ayaw ng tao sa kanya. Sabi ko, ganito, ganyan. So I actually had one of the most illuminating and friendliest conversation in Davao. So actually, I love to go back to Davao. I just hope it's still safe. Kasi someone joke you're like frenemy number 1 or something like
Yun
that.
nga, paano ko nangampanya dun eh.
I don't want to go to Davao. I'll be honest. That's why I'm surprised you did because I'd be afraid to go to Davao.
How do Davaoenos feel ba about EJ case kaya? Yun ang...
Okay, this is where I got into some trouble because I think a lot of Davaoenyo friends took offense or at least took exception to what I said na it's mahirap malaman ano talagang gusto ng tao habang may climate of fear.
Yes.
So if you go to Reddit, there's a whole thread about what I posted on Twitter. Obviously, Twitter is not the most eloquent version of me. But a big chunk was they saw it as an insult from a Manileño and they forget I'm actually from Provincia Tobago. But there were other people that actually said their own life story. Yung dad daw niya, manager, may sinabi lang about Duterte, one day may kumatok, oy, gusto mong tumahimik, gano'n. Yung iba nag-migrate na lang out of Davao. So actually, may mga nagsasalita na rin doon. So it just confirms the climate of fear I was talking about. Now, you don't need to invite Trillanes to tell you about the death squads. You don't need to read Patricia Mingalisa's book to know about the operations there. So I think there's and the reason, because I've been to North Korea, I've been to China, I've been to many authoritarian countries. And honestly, you talk to people there, they rather say they like the president.
Right.
Like if you do a survey in Russia, someone calls you, comrade, what do you think about Vladimir Putin? Do you think he's a great guy? What are the options? Good, great, fantastic. Do you have higher than that, comrade? Okay, because I'm like, and then that's the open scare. The other one is if you can't beat it, join it. Meaning, just buy the narrative.
Yeah.
So, 3 decades na sila dun. Ang tagal na
Yes.
mga Dutertes. So I felt medyo, hindi I think the Dutertes, and Mark is always harping on that, I think they've been so good in weaponizing itong mga taga Manila, mga kupa,
Yes.
elites, ganun. Kaya ako always
It's
emphasize,
us against them. Parang
tas
ganun.
medyo konyo itsura ko. So they try to actually, no. What I'm saying is, do not equate Duterte to Davao, because Davao is so much better than Duterte.
Right.
And yes, Duterte maybe was necessary, maybe, again, it's an argument, 1980s and 90s, nung Duterte was like Nicaragua. But Davao is super nice and developed right now. I think they have outgrown the need for those kinds of leaders.
Yep.
But yun nga, so I hope my Davao friends, I mean, I'm saying this in a very friendly, we don't, kasi kami sa Baguio, we also feel the same. Galit kami sa mga taga Manila, mga kupal itong mga. Kasi ako, I speak Ilocano, di ba? So when I go up, yung kotse ko kasi, the plate number is Manila. So nakikita ko yung guard ng mga ganun, and then I immediately speak Ilocano. Apay, kasi, and then they immediately, tapos Ilocano, nga, ang yabang itong mga taga Manila nga. Lalo, ang Christmas time, holidays, ang daming tao. So, if kami nga sa Baguio nang lapit sa Manila, we feel that kind of Imperial Manila,
Wow.
Hindi pa kayang mas malayo.
I completely relate to Davao. 100%. So, I just feel people understand that where I'm coming from is, I think Davao as a city and as a people is way better than Duterte. They have outgrown that need. And maybe, trapo din to dynasty, but maybe you have an alternative now that mas tugma, at least medyo Harvard Law School graduate, medyo hindi, data driven. I mean, look at, diba, Digong made Carlo Nograles not only his CAP secretary,
Yep.
but also one of the spokesmen during COVID to discuss all the...
Yes.
Matalinong tao. So, I just hope our folks in Davao don't get into this weaponization of tribalism. Because I'm from Baguio, I'm from Solid North supposedly, but I've criticized PBM, I've criticized Marcos Sr. So I don't allow my ethnicity or background define my
Yeah.
opinion. Because we are way more than just Marcoses. So that's where I'm coming. Sorry. Kayo, what is your read on that? On the whole Imperial Manila, Davao, and have you been to Davao, any of you guys?
Ako.
What is your impression of Davao? Let's do a Davao conversation, right? We need this, brother.
The last time I was there, hindi pa yata presidente si Digong eh. So matagal-tagal na din eh. Kasi I used to go there for business dun sa kumpanya namin. It's nice naman, ganda naman yung mga malls and yung mga places doon. It's hard to say din eh kung
Kinakabahan na yan.
kinakabahan din ako eh.
No, okay. Let's be fair. Kasi ang tingin nila is kung taga Manila ka, ang babaw ng tingin mo sa Davao. That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
The Duterte's created that narrative.
Oh, it's
That's
not
not
like
even
that.
true.
Yeah, it's not like
So, kasi alam mo, a politician, a populist president, or a populist leader will always look for an enemy that we
us
can...
versus them.
Right. It's always that case. Palagi, ang that's that style. Ang nakakatawa, ang daming mga tao na nauuto pa rin dito, hindi nila alam na tactic yun. Yung, us against the communists, us against the drug addicts, or us against, yun na nga, mga taga-Imperial Manila. Dude,
Othering,
nobody is, walang nang-aapik kanino. You're the one creating that narrative in your head that's not even based on
there's
reality.
obviously
But I
some
think,
prejudice
ano eh,
here and there. But
There's
it's not all
prejudice
of
on
it.
all sides.
All sides, sa bagay.
It's hard for me to understand it din kasi I'm from Imperial Manila eh. So hindi ko
Imperial QC.
So, pero like for example, 'di ba sa Cebu, 'di ba? Some Cebuano friends ayaw nilang Tagalog. They would rather Cebuano or English. So merong ganong
Yeah, but see,
eh.
do you hear people from Cebu saying to you na, taga Manila ka, walang... No, it's friendlier. Davao, he was able to weaponize that I'm from Davao, you're from Manila, and so you're an asshole. Cebu and Manila, I don't see that kind of tension as much as, they created with only the people that support Duterte.
Ako, taga Baguio, my lola was there, God bless her so much. Everyone is actually ang linis ng Davao, maayos ng Davao. What I saw in Davao just confirmed everything I was told about it while I was critical of Digong's national policies, etc. In fact, there was a part of me, again, this is out of respect, is that I don't know about 80s and 90s what you needed, but obviously I still disagree with the method. But ako kasi, isa sa pinaka nakakainis sa akin is nung naging presidente si Digong, biglang nagkakaroon ng EJK sa Baguio. In fact, may isang kilala ng pinsan ko na binaril sa gitna ng Session Road. Dude, like that's like times, It's like Times Square instead. Well, Times Square actually has a lot of crime. Think about a square or a main thoroughfare in a city na sobrang peaceful. And the next thing, bigla may... So parang, bakit nyo dinadala yung sa inyo sa amin? Parang, nai-impose nyo sa amin. Doon ako nainis eh. Nawala lang yun nung naging si Magalong ng mayor. Kasi he's police. Like, no, I'll do it my way. He has the authority. Pero to be honest, before that, may mga EJK sa Baguio na naiinis ako na, this is the Davao model. Don't impose it on us. I felt offended as a Baguio boy that you're imposing it on the rest of us when hindi naman kailangan ng EJK sa Baguio. In fact, hindi kailangan to begin with. But I just felt that was Imperial Davao on us in Baguio. Yeah, that's one way it got personal to me. Like, barilan sa gitna ng Baguio? Like, I never seen guns in Baguio. Like, that's crazy. Kahit suntukan lang, minsan-minsan lang kami.
That's why I was asking kanina kung how Davaoenos kaya feel about EJK. Kasi isang important din that we need to
But can they be really honest to us? Like, unless it's off the record and all. Kasi on the record,
I connect this dun sa question ko sa buong bansa eh. Kasi there's a large segment din ng population natin who knows about EJK. Alam nila na walang due process, walang talagang may summary execution lang, but they were still all right with it.
Yes.
Because they had given up on this system.
Oo.
So, the term for that is penal populism. Yung idea na is, I'm the dirty Harry. Right?
Yep.
Wala eh. The sheriff is corrupt. I just have to shoot down the criminals. So I think, understandable yung mindset na yan pag anarchic yung situation. I don't know, failed state, Somalia, I don't know, whatever. Pero napaka-sensado naman ng Davao ngayon. At hindi naman ganun kagrabe yung buong Pilipinas. Again, I'm not saying EJK is okay. I'm just saying, I just don't feel we are in a chaotic situation to warrant that. Now, there are parts of the Philippines that obviously are problematic, but I still don't see a justification for that kasi just too many people got killed na dapat hindi pinatay. I mean, actually, none of them should have been killed kaya nga due process. And my point is, how are you gonna make our system more accountable? Parang, paano mo i-solve yung problema kung yung solution mo is even worse? Diba? You might kill the patient with the bad medicine.
Sa akin, how do you convince these people na mali yan eh. Kasi parang sa kanila, hindi,
cancel
parang justified
culture,
Justified yung... So, yun ang I'm having a hard time kung how to explain to someone na... Kasi I see them all the time eh. Yung mga fans ni Duterte, ganun eh.
Alam mo, nakakatawa. They actually admit that Duterte kills people.
At proud ba sila?
And proud pa sila. That's the weird thing eh. When this whole thing started in 2016, first they were in denial. They would say na hindi si Duterte pumapatay, it's the drug lords fighting each other kasi natatakot sila, mahuhuli sila. Pero walang ginawa si Duterte dyan. Now, it's just outright, hindi, tama, si Duterte pumapatay, tama yan. And ituloy pa niya yan. Gusto pa namin ng maraming patayan. I was surprised to see some people in Davao commenting on my vlog saying na, gusto namin si Digong, gusto namin matuloy ang patayan. What the heck is wrong with you? Think about what you're saying.
I heard something worse, bro. By the way, shout out to Davao, number 4 urban centers where my audience comes from. I don't know why.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like nakita ko. They're my 4th largest audience.
Okay, let me ask you something. Are you getting bashed?
Not as much as before. I'm surprised. What's going on?
So what I'm saying is, how big is the Davao in terms of percentage? How big is Davao?
I think it's big enough. It's 12%, 15%.
12-15%.
I get a million comments, so like it should be thousands. Right?
Okay, so you're talking about 12% and you're not getting the bashing. Then that means there's a lot of people in Davao that I believe that agree and do not want Duterte in power. And even if you see it now, tingin ko talaga, nare-realize sila na, noon tagal na rin si Digong. At sa kung 30 years nga siyang mayor, tapos hindi pa tapos tong drug war niya, papatayin na niya tayong lahat kasi sino pa papatayin niya kung hanggang ngayon hindi pa napapatay lahat.
Ako, I've heard even crazier ones, I'm sure. Alam mo yung Koratong Balele, yung conspiracy, like essentially, you centralize, parang idea is that, kaysa sari-sari store,
centralize mo
na para at least, I don't know, like, mas maayos yung distribution. Like, I heard crazy stuff, like, what? Parang, lahat na lang sinabi para lang ma-justify yung vote nila nung 2016. Ako naman, sabi ko, simple lang naman ang pwede mong sabihin. I was frustrated, I was angry, I won't dispute that. Pumalpak talaga yung mga liberals, reformists, but wag mo nang pilitin.
No, don't double down.
Double down, no problem. But that's the problem, di ba? I can do that in person one-on-one kasi I mean, in fairness, mabait ako in person, right? I mean, maybe you don't agree. Pero online kasi hindi. Talagang bashing yan eh. So I feel a lot of times people are defensive kasi sobrang abrasive online. Especially yung bang woke natin kaibigan. Talagang they cancel the whole city. Like, wag kayo pumunta Davao, gano'n. In the same way, Ilocano, solid North, gano'n. Like, my family, a lot of them voted for Marcos, not my mom and dad, but I didn't cancel them. I still love them. I disagree with them. I have family members family relatives who vote for Trump. Doesn't mean like you know what I'm saying? I disagree with. So I think compassion, understanding, empathy is important. But at the same time, it's also important to nudge them finding the right. At least I have some of my pinsan who openly say, "Oo nga, tama ka. Ibang klase talaga si Digong eh." Pero Marcos pa rin tayo.
Itatanong ko about Davao. Kasi syempre, pinag-uusapan natin how they feel about the pero hindi kaya in the end, itong sa Davao will be about pera-pera lang. Hindi kaya doon din yung bagsak din.
That's the Carpio argument. That's the Carpio.
You think that
everywhere in the Philippines, everywhere in the Philippines.
Argument to Justice Carpio is the biggest ace card of Duterte's is their confidential fund. And look at
True.
Pera.
Nakatago lahat eh.
Money convinces many mindsets. Like, I think kailangan natin kasi bigla may Louis Vuitton.
Hindi yung tanong how much of their resources kaya will be placed dito to defend home court dito sa 2025.
Tsaka saan sila kuha ng pera?
Hindi,
yung legit.
Okay.
Kasi wala nang confidential fund. Wala nang development fund. I wonder
the city confidential fund is huge.
Kaya nga if you have...
Tinatanggal na, hindi pa rin.
No, it's still there. 500 million yun.
If you have saved money or how much of that will you have to use?
Yun nga eh.
Para
yung war chest.
Yung war chest to baka in the end, 'di ba? We discuss kung ganito ba yung baka ng pera-pera lang to sa dulo.
No, I think hindi
pataas.
Hindi lang but big factor. 40%.
I will be the
40%.
I will be the one to say na I have hope and I believe in the people in Davao na hindi nila papayagan mabenta yung boto nila para lang sa 5,000 pesos. Ano ba population ng Davao ngayon? 1.8?
Depends. The greater Davao is malaki.
Davao City. Davao City lang naman tatakbo ni Duterte. Davao City is 1 point... 1
million na?
Isn't it Davao City? 1.9.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a big 1.9 million. And now
paano kung merong ang vote buying sa Davao pero the Dutertes will lose naman?
Kasi kahit naman may vote.
Alam mo bakit?
Is it the good kind of meron bang good kind of vote buying?
Well, I will tell you what, in some part of Ilocos, I won't say where sabi nung mga kaibigan ko on the ground in Ilocos, this back in the day, nagkaroon ng second round of vote buying. Hindi na makahabol.
Oh my God.
Nagtapatan and then
wow.
Out. So, kaya you are not hearing about a certain family from that region anymore.
Well, wait, the Nograles is backed up by BBM? Okay. Let's just because okay. So if he was, then BBM has the machinery and the budget as well. Ganun din. Budget.
Yung nga baka magka-cancel out yung vote buying.
And when you do vote buying naman, isn't it a fact that they can't see what you're voting naman? Is there a way to be able to?
There is daw.
There
are some studies. I'll tell you what. There are a couple of different ways daw. One is dapat maggaganong ka daw ng konti. So may tao doon sa loob na magvo-vote ka. Di ba kunyari that igaganon mo ng konti so they have to see. So there's a watcher daw. So, second, if kunyari binera ang isang barangay.
They monitor
and
per barangay.
And then biglang hindi nagkaroon ng ROI, yari yung barangay. Buong barangay. So what happens is that they have capos inside who spy on those. Kunyari ikaw, taga barangay A ka, tapos nagpo-post ka ng anti-mayor. May babantay sa'yo. So, ano talaga pare? Collective punishment. So, it's not just vote buying. Actually, it's vote intimidation. And yun ang hindi dinidiscuss ng ating mga kaibigan ng Pink. Puro na lang disinformation. Pare, mas malaking factor ang intimidation, lalo dun sa probinsya. Pare, yayariin mo yung barangay mo. Or yung...
It's happening in all provinces. Walang...
When you say yayariin, what are you referring to? Violence? Death?
There could be... Or they could cut off budget development to that area, hindi maayos yung...
matatanggal sa trabaho.
There's a whole menu of punishment.
Oh my God.
Singapore is also like that, allegedly. If certain areas don't vote for that, kunyari opposition, biglang delayed na yung mga train. Of course, Singapore is soft authoritarian.
Right.
But in some places, let's say in Mindanao or some poorer areas of the country, Yaya rin daw. There are academic studies on that na meron silang talagang watchers. May kapos sila online, offline, even sa loob ng barangay. And I'll tell you what, even if all of this is not true, the myth of that is strong enough also. Baka madulas tayo, pare. At saka, isa lang naman ang vote mo eh. Kung magpasaway ka, yayarin ka, di naman ibang, di ba? It's so easy to be cynical.
Yep.
Bakit ka magmamaganda? Takot nga lahat. Kaya sabi ko, yun ang dapat discuss natin eh. In fairness to Leni, sorry about last. In fairness to Leni, she tried to kind of solve the problem by saying, kunin mo yung pera, pero wag mong botohin. Pero it doesn't take in consideration intimidation factor, and second, well, it's illegal. So you have to strengthen COMELEC talaga. Yung COMELEC talaga, dapat may tao doon.
Walang na-arresto ni isa eh.
Nobody, ever.
Unless ayaw ng admin, di ba? Biglang after 2 years, biglang may election challenge yung kunyari. Sa, di ba, sa Cagayan, biglang may issue. Ganun lang naman eh. Very selective. I think kung may 10 malalaking tao LGO mahuli, magkakaroon ng counter fear factor. No one talks about it, right? COMELEC is so weak. It how much you're spending. Online expenditure.
And even if they don't do anything about it.
They cannot do anything. Wala silang manpower, wala silang muscle.
Yeah.
Wala silang muscle. So daming nagsabi sa akin, theory lang yung sinasabi niyo na anonymous actually dun sa bar. Ipapaganon ka daw. Titingin yan, go. Titingin yan, go. Ganon. Tapos kung hindi bumalik yung ROI, yari kang collective punishment yan.
I'd want to hear from the people, if there are people watching from Davao, like what ba talaga, guys?
Yeah. Please tell us.
I would love to hear from you guys because ako, honestly, whether you support Duterte or not, and you're from Davao or not, ako, what we do here, criticizing and everything is for everyone, including you. So, alam ko that you disagree with us in maybe your love for Duterte, but remember, more important than your love for your politician is your love for country.
And also for the city, right? I mean, you
in your case, your city, yeah.
Paano ang problema kasi, they feel na kung si Duterte yung nakaupo or presidente, uulan ng grasya dito sa city namin. So may ganong...
na-agree naman ako kasi ganon din sa Ilocos, diba? Kasi nung Marcos is, ang daming developments ng... Kasi purang Ilocos back in the day eh. But now we have the best infrastructure because 20 years we had the president. So I understand yung hindi lang tribalism but yung alam mo na practicality and all. Pero ako naman syempre gusto mo yung first Mindanao president mo, good reputation para sana we have more Mindanao.
Yeah.
I want ang daming matalino from Mindanao. I mean, Scarpio is from Mindanao, right? I mean, ang daming kilala na mga magagaling na Mindanao, Moro Brothers, Christian Brothers, and mga others. So yun lang, sana hindi lang ma-equate ang buong Mindanao kay Duterte. And the fact na si Duterte unilaterally says, hiwalay ng Mindanao. So I interviewed Zia Adyong, congressman, like, he doesn't speak for all of us. Pero sino ba siya, diba, essentially, diba? So I just feel that's too pretentious.
Yan papasok si Pacquiao.
Si Jensen joins the chat room. Jensen joins the chat room. Exactly. So I think, to be honest, I understand some of our, again, I keep on saying some, because obviously it's not. Some of our Davao friends keep on saying Imperial Manila, but there are people in Mindanao who tell me there's Imperial Davao. That sometimes Davao tries to impose.
Yes.
On the whole Mindanao.
You don't speak for all of us. I mean, there's all these other cities. There's, I don't know, Basilan, there's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Zamboanga, Cagayan de Oro.
Zamboanga is a big city,
Jensen.
Right? So why are you equating Duterte with entire Mindanao? I understand 2016, first president, but hanggang ngayon, yung pa rin ang rhetoric nyo, di ba?
Someone has to rise siguro from to change the narrative. Doon papasok na kasi babalik na naman yung train sa Mindanao at yung mga projects sa Mindanao. Bigyan talaga ng
Binalik na
bigyan talaga
plataforma right there.
So last last time over? Kailangan ng Kailangan ng
Okay.
Sige. Okay lang. Sige lang. Puya ka siya. Okay. We're back to the universe. Ayan, okay. Let's go to the last part of our discussion. I think we have still 15 minutes or so, no? Kasi medyo mahal ang rent dito. Going back to this, baka naman, mga gusto mag-sponsor dyan. No, going back to this, bro. Let's talk about opposition. How do you feel about other candidates also throwing their hat in this ring? I mean, Leila de Lima just came out of 7 years of fake, hindi lang fake drug war, fake incarceration, fake detention. And yet, she still threw her hat and was humble enough to even go for Congress rather than Senate. Chel Jokno also throwing his hat. I'll go also to Mark kasi Mark has been the party list guy, the Congress guy. So, kudos to you. Mas nakinig sila sa'yo kaysa kay Ronald Llamas, bro. You're the man. Ganun talaga kung absent ka, ikaw ang titirahin. So, ikaw, bro, how do you feel about progressive, genuine opposition? Hindi yung naging opposition dahil hindi binigyan ng position.
Well, to begin with, I'm glad that Leila de Lima is running, and I'm going to be helping promote her party list sa Makabayang Pilipino.
Yeah.
Right. That's the one, right?
Makabayang Liberal.
Makabayang Liberal, right.
Actually, mas maganda sana yung Pilipino.
Mamayang liberal.
Oh, yun.
Mamayang Liberal.
Okay. So, definitely supporting that. And I'm glad that they're doing the party list instead, because that is a way to get to be a legislator. It's only parang 160,000 votes you need.
300. I think
300.
medyo tumaas
300 is
na.
safe.
300,000 na ba? Okay. So,
Proportional kasi.
kasi ang dami. The thing
dami
is,
na,
now a lot of people are taking advantage of the party list system because
It's the cheap ticket to the...
yes, because if you can
for sa bunso ng pamilya, for the
yung mga tabi-tabi.
Oh.
Ay, ikaw, baka pwede ka
for the fourth congressman
kasi
sa pamilya.
yung problema lang kasi ng party list. Actually, I like the party list, but there's also some problems with it. What I like about the party list is that, for example nga, if there's that tribalism in that province, or worse, is that the private armies, diba, the politicians that are entrenched, and then if you run against them, they're gonna have you killed. Yung ganun kalala. Maraming ganun sa probinsya. So, the party list system actually breaks that. Kasi now I'm not running against you in our district. I'm running, and I'm trying to get the... this is my advocacy. This is the special interest group I'm representing, and therefore, yung boto ko ngayon is all across. And the good thing about that is you're actually basing
Mag-extend na tayo.
yeah, you're basing the votes because of issues, because of principles, rather than because of the personality. Although I don't like the fact that ang dami ngayong mga party list na. The dami na. This is one of the most. So,
excuse me, we have a breaking news. Andito na po si Secretary Ronald, parang tayo lang hindi tumakbo tong election. Ito, tumakbo naman, Councilor. Kamusta? Ronald Llamas, Tristan. Alright, oh my God, this is getting crazy.
Senator.
Officially, hindi na siya nuisance candidate.
Hanapin niyo po yung pangalan ko bago
mag-extend na
bago
kami
kay-
ng 30 minutes.
bago kay Bongo.
Sorry, I
So,
briefed the
pangalan ko
German
Bongo.
delegation.
Yeah, okay. Alright, sorry. Okay, I think we have to close the shop. Ito na, it's the Ronald Llamas show.
Hindi ko yung Mindanao eh.
No. We did Davao.
Sa Mindanao.
Yeah. So, Ronald, let's rewind a little bit, then go back again.
Yeah.
Kasi we had a long conversation about Davao. At sabi ko, how can we talk to the Davao people without coming off as patronizing, right? How can we say na Dutertes are not, they're not equal to entire Davao or Mindanao without looking like Imperial Manila? So we had a long conversation about that na, no, Davao is so good that it has outgrown the need for authoritarian, populist, clownish games, right? That Davao people are... And then, of course, there's also a factor of fear. I feel, to a certain degree, some people disagree with me. Ang dami nagbash sa akin about that na sino ka ba, ganyan. But ikaw, what is your read of Davao in terms of prospects for change, prospects for transformation?
Well, I think Davao will develop without extrajudicial killings. No? Dati pa yan nung si Father Paracale, no?
Right.
Dati ko pang kakilala yun no? At siya yung nag-document nung almost 2,000 killings extrajudicially sa Davao. Unfortunately, namatay siya this year, no? At 67, no? Pero ang tapang niyan, no? Talagang nilista niya. Siya yung kumausap doon sa mga pamilya, inisa-isa niya. Ang tingin ko, Davao has the wherewithal na mag-develop, na magpatuloy na mag-develop, no? It's the biggest city, I think, in the Philippines.
yes, 1.1, we were sa 1.9, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about
So, tingin ko yung resources, yung skill set ng mga tao nandyan para mag-develop. At usually, ang image ng Davao ay nag-develop ito, yun yung wrong conception. Nag-develop ito because of the peace and order, because of the Davao death squads, etc. I totally disagree with that.
Yeah.
Tingin ko
It's the economics. It's the economics,
tingin ko ang laki ng possibility ng Davao, no? Even without yung notoriety ng DDS.
Gusto ko tanong po, how about the people do sa Davao? What do they, ilang percent sa kanila are truly love the Dutertes? Ilan yung out of fears?
Siyempre,
Ilan yung...
kung nagkaroon ka ng,
30 years.
for the first time, nagkaroon ka ng Mindanao na presidente, it's not only Davao, no? It's the whole of Mindanao. Dahil talaga namang napabayaan ang Mindanao for a long time. I've been organizing in Mindanao for a large part of my youth, no? Sa General Santos, mga urban poor, sa Sarangani, sa South Cotabato, mga magsasaka, sa Basilan, no? Matagal ako diyan, nag-organize ako ng rubber cooperative sa Cotabato, mga Iranon, sa Sulu, tumulong kami kay Nurmiswari do sa kanyang ARMM nung first. So, I've been around no, ang problema talaga nung Mindanao ay napabayaan sila in terms of services, investments, training ng Manila, no? Kaya
Pero Ronald, our point is kasi na weaponize itong legitimate grievance against Imperial Manila.
Exactly.
So how can we de-weaponize it? Like, how can we talk to our Mindanao friends, and especially in Davao, yung mga Daveño, like, you can do better than Duterte.
Hindi, halimbawa, nung
without sounding off as kupal Manila
nung January
people.
28, nung rally sa Davao, anong sabi ni Duterte? Magsesesid kami.
Yes.
Meron bang suporta nakuha?
Wala.
Nagmukhang gago si Bebot Alvarez. Diba? Nung sigaw siya ng sigaw, no?
Now you see.
Pero ang BARM ba sumuporta sa kanila? Hindi. Anong sabi ng mga BARM official? Ang tagal na namin pinaglaban ito.
Ngayon lang.
Ngayon pa kayo magsesesid.
Si Adyong, di ba? Si Adyong na-interview doon. Parang hindi ka nga involved.
Si Pacquiao sa Southern
Jensen,
Mindanao.
yeah, exactly.
Bakit kami magsesesid, no? Ang mga subiri, no? Ang mga barbers, no? Ang mga
Zamboanga,
mga hataman, etc. Ang mga sa Sulu, sa Kurtan.
Right.
So, ibig sabihin, wala sila nakuhang support.
Yeah.
Kung meron sila nakuhang support, pwede pang sabihin, uy, all out pa rin sila kay Digong.
Yeah.
Wala inatras.
Pero
Kaya nga inatras
Hindi ba, Ronald, parang yung sabi na ibang Mindanaon sa akin, ano, parang mag-Imperial Davao kayo, na parang you're imposing on the rest of us also, the Duterte version of things, di ba?
Well, yes, no? Isang possibility yun. Pero ako kasi wala ko I don't have the numbers to crunch para sabihin ito out of fear, ito out of historical injustice, ito ay out of culture, ito about political economy. Wala akong ganun numbers Ang sinasabi ko lang, when Digong called for secession, walang sumuporta. No?
Right.
Paano mo masasabi na yung Mindanao ay all out kay Digong? No? Mas mahalagang issue yung historic crime na napabayaan ng Mindanao. Na ngayon ay nagsisimula na mapansin. Kaya yung mga iba, katulad sa BARM, ba't kami susuporta dyan? Ngayon lang nga kami nakakaranas ng ganitong klaseng pagtrato, pagpapahalaga, development. Ngayon pa kami hihiwalay, ngayon pa kayo babalik sa bundok. No? So, yun yung mga variables
So
dito.
Ronald, how can we have a progressive, non-patronizing conversation with ako, I'm always defensive. I'm not even from Manila. I'm from Baguio, whatever. Kasi parati, if you're not from Mindanao or Davao and you say anything critical, they'll immediately tag you as kupal to.
Hindi,
so how do you get around that?
Una, wag na tayo masyado magsalita. ang piliin
mahirap
natin,
to sa akin.
Ang piliin natin, no? Kung mag-create tayo ng mga Haydarian sa Mindanao, sa Davao, sa Jensan, no? Mga tigaron, maraming tigaron.
Magsasurvive na lang natin.
Marami akong kilala. Si Neil Dalena, sa Zamboanga.
Let's give them
Sa Davao, may kilala ka.
Sa Davao, si
Magre-retire na ako.
Mike Ibanez, no? Si Ben Sumugoy sa Jensan. Ang dami mas magagaling sa akin yan no? Yan yung dapat magsalita.
Let's give them the
genuine voices
yan
of
yung
Davao.
magsalita, no? Si Carl sa Cagayan de Oro, no? Etc. Ang dami niyan
Paano ko, Ronald, mag-asawa ako ng
Hindi
taga
lang
Mindanao,
na-
maging okay, pwede na ako
Tingin ko walang papatol sa iyo. Tingin ko walang papatol. Mas mataas yung standard doon
Kasi Imperial Manila ka, kaya wala.
Imperial Manila ka kasi.
Pang-internet,
Doon ka-
nagsimula
doon ka-
na yung podcast natin.
Doon ka na
Officially.
Doon ka na lang maghanap sa Singapore, o kaya sa
Davao.
Germany, o kaya sa Greenland, di pa
Ayan.
bonito mo.
Ayan.
Doon ka maghanap, no?
Itatanong ko sa Ronald,
Iceland ako, ice. Ikaw yung green.
is there a path to victory for the Nograleses in 2025 or 2028?
Or what is victory short of winning all of the positions? Is
Kung
there,
kalaban nila
City
si
Hall.
Baste at si Pulong, may chance sila. Kung kalaban nila si Digong sa 2025, 2028, may hirapan.
Mahirapan pa rin.
May hirapan sila. Pero dun sa, halimbawa, bakit tumakbo si Digong? Dahil alam niya, may hirapan si Baste. Absentee mayor
Yup.
No? Absentee mayor. Si Pulong, mas notorious kay Baste yun. Hindi rin mananalo yun. Baka si Sara. pero bibitawan niya as Vice President, no?
Right.
So, kwan lang yan, Digong or Sara yung may chance, no, na manalo. Ibang usapin pa sa district. Halimbawa, yung pinatakbo nila si Omar, tatalunin ba nun yung mga
yung bata-bata
tatalunin ba nun yung mga Garcia? Teritoryo nila yan, no? Ngayon, si Migs at saka si Pulong, tingin ko uphill pa rin si Migs, pero may chance. Davao City, different yan.
Right.
No? Walang tatalo kay Digong dyan for now. Ang tatalo lang kay Digong, impyerno. No? Yun lang, no?
Speaking of, sorry, we're going back again. Kanina, ang suggestion, kasi Riz Ontiveros kanina made the motion na dapat it should be whole of Senate. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng inakusa gawa ng sarili niyang investigation. But, I think, at least you agree with me. I want Batu to oversee that and then Digong in his arrogance and complacency really spill all the beans. Yung parang nangyari kay Jonathan Morales, yung talaga off the script. Baka it's better to do it that way para Digong will
May rules yan eh. Hindi pwedeng
self-incrimination.
hindi pwedeng mag-organize ng committee hearing during the break moto proprio.
Out of no. Dapat previously continuous.
Dapat yung before, no? Right. Ikalawa, yung delikadesa. Iimbestigahan mo yung sarili mo, no?
Well, wala naman kasi delikadesa eh.
Wala na.
Obviously, wala.
Kaya ang proposal ni Risa, the whole of the Senate, no? Pwedeng gawin yan sa November 4.
Right.
Pero hindi na nila kontrolado yan.
Yeah.
Duda ako kung gusto nila Bato tsaka ni Bongo yan. Ang gusto nila yung kontrolado nila.
Yeah.
Na hindi nila pwedeng gawin during the break. May rules dyan eh. No? Ako lang naman ang hindi sumusunod sa rules. Pero yung mga senador susunod dyan. No? Susunod sila sa rules.
Pero hindi si Jonathan Morales. Hindi siya.
hindi.
Nakulong. Ready na yung baon niya.
So yan yung
makontempt siya.
So yan yung problema niya. Pero actually, ang issue kasi dyan, delikadesa. Nawala naman si Bato.
Wala talaga.
So, pero tingin mo ba magagawa nila tong committee na to or tong hearing na to?
The committee
Hindi.
of the whole. No,
pero they won't agree to the committee of the whole. But even if they don't agree, if they get the majority of the senators to agree, or does it just take the Senate President to be able to say tuloy yan?
Walang pakialam dyan ng Senate President. Dapat dyan yung lahat ng mga senador mag-agree. Yung committee of the whole. No?
Otherwise, so let's say hindi nag-agree. You think that Bato, well, to begin with, I think Bato's gonna agree to the committee of a whole, di ba?
Well, ang sabi kasi nila, pag wala silang dalawa ni Bongo, hindi dadalo si Digong. Sa committee of the whole, nandun naman silang dalawa. Dadalo ba si
I don't think he will.
I doubt it, no?
Yeah.
I doubt it. Dahil marami nang nandun, no?
Gawa tayo ng petition, please, tatay.
Sumipot ka na.
Come here.
Pwede ba akong maging resource person?
I-ready mo na yung bag mo kasi makontempt ka. Matulog ka na. Diba si Jonathan Morales? Dala-dala
Ready
niya.
yung bag.
Mr. Jonathan, you have invoke contempt. Galing siya. Kukunin niya na yung bag na.
Pero malaki ang duda ko kung ako ay patutulugin nila sa chance.
Yun lang.
Medyo may duda ako.
Parang threaten sila sa'yo.
May duda ako.
This is great. Sir Ron, oh my God. Let's talk about the fear factor. Kasi, okay, sabi nyo nga, it's hard to, I have to be political science. Yes, it's, kasi for me, fear has such a distortionary effect that you cannot say slice na 30% after. Kasi parang ano yun eh, parang it's like a poison, di ba? But, what is not questionable is yung voter intimidation culture on the ground, yung kapos who check on who's voting and not. I saw studies that even online they check. The reason I'm asking is that because the opposition in the Philippines, the genuine, and keeps on talking about disinformation. When I say actually the problem on the ground is not only vote buying, it's vote intimidation. And
Well,
how do they deal with that?
Kung hindi ikaw ang gobyerno, mahihirapan kang gawin yon. Halimbawa, sino ang chief of police dyan? Si Hansel Malantan. Kilala ko yon. No? Walang kinakatakutan yon.
Right.
No? Medyo may konting notoriety.
Parang ikaw.
Si Hansel. Pero walang kinakatakutan yun.
Yeah.
Si General Torre, na nasa
Of course,
CIDG
CIDG
na yun.
na ngayon,
Kung
yeah.
nandun pa siya, wala rin kinakatakutan
Okay.
So, ibig sabihin, yung mga ilalagay dyan, yung mga i-deploy dyan,
bantayan,
ay
para hindi
gagwardiyahan
babantayan.
yung ganong klaseng harassment. So, maliban pa sa pag sinabi mo sa mga Davaoenyo, hindi natatakot kayo, hindi nila aaminin yun. No?
Of course.
Walang aamin nun. No?
So that
Kaya,
will be the arms of COMELEC, because COMELEC on itself cannot fight these goons and warlords who are, voting intimidation techniques, di ba?
Well, pwede akong pumunta ron, kasama ko para makatulong sa mga nananakot.
Now you see why we have this show, right? It's,
ang fear naman is relative eh. No? Kaya depende yan. Lalo na ngayon, no? Lahat ng mga dating mga pumapalakpak sa EJK ngayon binabanata ng EJK, no? So kaya nga sabi ni
Tama
Bongo,
si Bongo, tama
sabi
siya.
ni Bongo, nakinabang kayo
Tama siya.
Different
Tama siya.
levels kasi ang guilt diyan eh. Yung
Yeah.
iba yung talagang sumuporta sa killings. Yung iba yung nagbigay ng public support.
Yung iba
Katulad ng
silent.
isang secretary ng Foreign Affairs na nagsalita sa United Nations,
Oh.
depending Tokhang,
Yeah.
no, na ngayon ay senador na, no? Yun yung ikalawang level, no, na sumuporta pero hindi naman directly kasama sa killings. At yung mga nanahimik,
Yep.
no? At yung mga nanahimik.
Nanahimik.
May varying degree siya ng guilt, no?
Right.
So yung mga congressman, senador na ngayon ay gustong investigahan ito, so long as hindi sila kasama sa killings, ay okay na ako ron, no? Kung may ginagawa silang mabuti, hindi ko haharangan.
Right.
Parang yung mga kaaway ko, hindi ko sila haharangan if they're making a mistake, no? Ganon din yung mga kakampi natin ngayon. Ano, politics naman is relative sa Pilipinas. Wala namang permanent enemies, permanent friends di ba?
May mga dilawan nagsabi, quiet daw ako, quiet daw tayo, wala tayong ginawa sa EJK. Sila lang daw.
Ako, hindi ako nasa Matrix nga ako
Matrix.
Kasama ko
Kasama ka.
Kaya nga, kaya nga.
Jollibee, tsaka si Heidi Lindia.
Kaya silent
Hindi ako
ka
tahimik,
kasi nagtago ka. Ikaw silent ka, nagtago ka.
Oo.
Ako naman nasa TV.
Hindi, nung panahon na yun, wala pa akong podcast.
Oh,
wala
wala.
rin ako mga
Oh,
TV
wala
show.
rin akong podcast kasi yun
Wala
nga.
naman tatanggap sa akin nun
Actually, ako yung Ronald Llamas nung time na yun, napansin mo?
Diba? Oo.
So, nagpalit tayo ng pwesto ngayon. Oo nga, wala pong podcast nung time na yan.
Tsaka ayaw ni Pinoy na magsalita ako nun
Oo.
Ah, really?
Dahil lang gusto ni Pinoy, may iba siyang pinapagawa sa akin. So, kaya nung pumanaw siya, doon nakapagsalita na ako. Para na akong Ronin.
Yeah.
Mas-
Oh, yes. Oh.
So,
Pakipalitan yung
Na-let loose na.
Hindi ko lang,
We have a different version of this behind you. Pakipalit. Okay, now officially we are in the Shogun edition. Shogun edition.
Oh.
No, kahapon kausap ko si Justice Carpio. Sorry if I'm rewinding a little bit so that we can catch up. With Justice Carpio, kahapon sabi niya, actually yung mga lalabas sa Quadcom at saka pwede gamitin ng ICC yan. So actually, they could be mutually reinforcing.
Yes and no. Dahil yung ICC kasi, ang kanilang, nung 1 year after natin umalis, yun ang coverage nila, which is 2019. No? Kung ito ay mga icing on the cake na lang, no? Pero yung kaso nila is practically tapos na no? Yung international warrant na lang hinihintay. Hindi rin sila pwede magdagdag. Dahil nga, meron silang coverage
Wait,
1 year
Ronald,
pagkatapos natin umalis.
nung nandito si Justice Carpio, medyo hindi ka sure sa legal analysis mo. Ngayon nawala siya. You are questioning.
Hindi, ayoko lang, baka kasi ayoko maging insecure si Justice.
For the first time, nung nandun si Justice Carpio, I never saw in my life, nagtatanong siya, Justice, totoo ba ganun? Tapos nung wala si Justice, may sagot, hindi. Ganito mangyari, like, okay. Love na love kita, Sir Ron.
Siyempre, namimili rin tayo.
Baka may insecure yung Justice.
Baka ayoko ma-insecure si Justice. No?
Hindi, ako naman, kasi
Alam ko naman, ikaw, wala sa vocabulary mo ang insecurity.
medyo opposite ang problema ko. Kaya galit na galit yung mga dilawan sa akin.
Dapat naman silang magalit.
Bakit naman?
Kinakampahan mo si Sunny Trillanes
Nalikan mo. Uy, support ako today. Ano tingin mo yung
Kasi
meeting?
na dalawa yun no?
Meeting nila with BBM and Leni. Sinuport ko yung
It was
meeting na yan.
not a meeting. Nagkita lang sila.
Ayan.
Ikaw naman,
Iba yung meeting sa
ilalagyan mo ng
nagkataon
kahulugan
nandun.
no?
Nagkamali na naman
yan yung
ako.
problema rito no?
Chance passenger.
Right.
Nagkita lang Nandun si Camille Villar, nandun si
Oh,
Bamakino.
si Wait,
diba?
is that Villar? Sabi ko, for the...
Nagkita lang. Nilagyan mo kagad ng
Si
kahulugan.
Bamakino.
Parang may picture si Camille Villar Parang hi sa mayon. Tapos yung mga tao na ko, makabili na yung buong.
May bakanteng lupa doon.
Ibig sabihin, kung makita mo kami ni BBM na nagkakamay, magbabago na pagtingin mo sa akin?
But Ronald, di ba the difference is, nag-release ng picture yung kay Leni, kay BBM, pero yung with Sarah, wala pa tayong picture. Meron ba? Meron ka ba ng picture?
Bakit naman nila kukunan ng picture yon? Si si Sarah yung dumalaw. Dapat si
Bakit?
Sarah yung
Dapat may
kumuha ng picture.
Walang official
Oo.
meeting picture. Ito, chance lang. Ang daming picture. Smile, smile. Pakit-pakit.
Hindi naman nga official yon, no? Reluctant nga.
Alam mo, Ronald, parang
reluctant nga.
pinapahamak mo naman.
Reluctant nga yung host no? Ba't niya kukunan ng picture? Reluctant
Parang nag-regret
siya.
ako. Cut. Tawa na. Late ka na. Wala na itong show na to. So, Chris, now you see. Ayan na, ito na yung Shogun edition. Lord Toronaga. Yan, ako.
Panahon ng laglagan ngayon, di ba?
Anjin.
Panahon ng laglagan ngayon So, anong
Ito,
bago?
Ronin. Ikaw ang kakatayin. Sir Ronald, now let's go back to this. Chris, so you were saying kanina, okay, paki-delete lahat ng sinabi ni Ronald. Kunyari lang, pinakinggan natin siya. Chris, you were saying about opposition, you feel good about Laila and everyone throwing their hat into the ring, even if it's party list and kind of a downgrade from Senate.
I don't think it's a downgrade because although they call it the lower
Supposedly.
house, it's not. As a matter of fact, I think nga that the Senate is downgraded compared to the Congress because tignan mo yung caliber ng ating mga senador. Honestly, look at the caliber of our Congress. Ang galing ng Kongreso natin. And nakikita mo yung magagaling doon. I mean, sina Luistro who came out of nowhere. And then you compare to the line of questioning and even the way they prepare for their hearings. I as much as I like Risa, pag pinakinggan mo line of questioning ni Risa and then compare mo kahit kina Ace Barbers, kina sina Paduano, sina
Well, lawyer
si-
din kasi sila, so it's a different kind of approach.
Dan
and
Fernandez.
discipline.
Dan Fernandez. So even
Ang crime nila, murdering the English language.
yun lang alam problema. Pag pinapakinggan mo
Actually,
parang
also,
Tagalog na lang kayo.
murdering fashion. Okay, ganito. From someone with the chest hair, you don't do that if you don't have chest hair. Sorry, Dan. Bro.
Guess ko si Dan last Monday.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Sabi ko sa kanya, pati ba naman si Cassandra nilalandi mo?
Hindi nga alam. Pati nga yung ni Garma, tinatanong, nahihirapan ka ba dahil sa relasyon niyo ni Gong, gano'n? Tapos si Garma, hindi naman po. Like, ano ginawang Cassandra Ong si Garma?
Sabi sa akin ni Dan, kabayan. Kabayan kami. Sa munisipyo ko.
Okay.
Na-disarm na ako ron. Hindi ko na inulit.
Okay.
Now I see.
Magaling.
Hindi ko na inulit. Ano yung unang salbo? No.
Buti hindi naging congressman, secretary. Cassandra Ong, lahat is Cassandra Ong.
Hindi ko naman murderin yung English language. Sabi ko kasi sa mga congressman, kung mas sanay ka sa Tagalog,
Mag-Tagalog
mo
ka,
na lang. Kung sanay
yes.
ka sa English, mag-English ka na lang.
Yeah,
no?
totoo.
Huwag mo lang ipilit. No?
Kung maglalandi ka, wag naman. Wag naman yung kriminal. BBM!
Teka, correction lang bago ako magsalita.
Ay, hindi ka pa nagsalita?
Parang mali yung apelyido ko.
Hindi,
Kulang sa A.
Medyo
No.
Japanese yung gumawa Riyamas.
Well, agree naman ako kay Chris na talaga namang value added si Laila sa Congress. Mas ang issue ko lang ay dalawa Una ay Laila is our local Mandela. At yung role niya sana
ganyan.
is to unify yung opposition na hati-hati. At ang problema sa party list, you will be competing for the same vote. Lahat ng mga iba't ibang parties.
So baka mag-split.
Mag-aagawan kami nun.
Ah.
All of us will be... Dahil
That's
isa
the
lang ang
point,
boto sa party list. All of us will be competing for the
One
same vote.
lang ba?
Yeah,
Hindi
yeah.
ba?
Isa lang.
You only
So,
get
hindi
to
kayo
pick
pwede
one
maghati-hati,
party
no?
list.
So magkakampanya rito.
magagawan
kayo,
sila ng boto.
Magagawan kami.
May fixed base na kasi.
Yun yung problema.
So kung kakamping
na,
ka,
na
you have to
medyo
choose.
yung role sana ni Laila is more unifying. No? Ikalawa, yung principle ng party list. Kasama namin yung Liberal Party, si Senator Bobby Tanyada at saka si Ed Selagman, na presidente ngayon ng Liberal Party, to campaign for the party list law in 95 to 97. First, in-implement siya 98. Ang essence ng party list law is for the marginalized
sa
sector.
keyword.
Yeah.
Binago yan ng Supreme Court noong 2013. Sabi nila, lahat pwede na mag-participate. But the essence remain, The essence of the party list is for marginalized sectors.
Yes.
Not for established parties, not for billionaires,
Yep.
no, not for sons of
Dynasties.
former presidents, not for dynasties, no. Kahit pinayagan na ng Supreme Court 'yan. Mahirap na 'yung argument mo na okay lang kami tumakbo kahit magkakamag-anak kami dahil wala pa namang implementing rules na anti-dynasty kahit malinaw sa konstitusyon.
Yep.
Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin sa party list 'yon. Malinaw naman yung essence ng anti-dynasty sa konstitusyon. Malinaw yung essence ng party list sa konstitusyon. Kahit yan ay binago ng Supreme Court through judicial legislation, the essence remains. So, ako, dapat yung Liberal Party na kasama namin noon sa pagkampanya nito, sana sila nag-inhibit na. No, katulad ng ibang mga
Yun yung
established
ano doon.
parties.
So
Yun yung essence nun eh.
Yeah, so you're saying you'd prefer that De Lima run for Senate na lang instead?
Either run or bid her time, help unite the opposition, sila ni Laila, ni Risa.
And expand the base, and
Yes,
expand the base.
and then run sa 2028, no? Dahil kakakulong lang niya ng 7 taon, pahinga siya and become a unifying figure, no? Rather than be one among 350, no, sa Congress at makatulong mabastardize yung party list law. Na ang essence is very progressive. No?
Ako my counter argument to Ronald is, to that is
Lagi ka naman may counter-argument.
para lang fair. Alam mo naman, Ronald, lamas show. No, ako naman, ang
Kung wala kang
counter
counter-argument, di ka na hilari.
ang counter argument ko naman dyan is, ang dami ng talo ng Liberal Party, baka maging irrelevant na, yun what I'm saying, they have
Yeah.
to show that like, hey, we're still
It's
here.
not, hindi yan ang kailangan nilang gawin. Kailangan nila mag-ayos internally.
Oh, well.
Yung 6 nilang congressman, 2 nasa minority, 4 nasa majority. So yun
Yung
ang
isa
kailangan,
umalis na.
yun ang kailangan nilang ayusin, no? Si Kimbo, ang partido
Wala na, umalis
anti-Maharlika, anti-Chacha. Si Kimbo pro-Maharlika, pro-Chacha. Kailan ba umalis si Kimbo? Just a few months ago.
Stella.
No? So, ibig sabihin, if I were a self-respecting party, matagal ko nang tinanggal yan.
Yep.
No? So, mas ang kailangan nilang ayusin is not yung win or lose. Ayusin nila yung internal.
But why do you think
be
they're-
a real political party?
But why
no?
they aren't doing it? Is it lack of political will? Is it they just gave up on reforming it, so they just want
Well,
to create...
siguro pragmatism. Imbis na babawasan pa sila ng miyembro, no? Tanggapin na nila lahat. No? Kahit nasa majority.
They
no?
run into a hard wall of traponess eh. Yung isasabi mo, di ba?
Halimbawa, may 2 kang congressman na nasa minority. Yung party president mo, independent minority. Tapos yung 4 mong congressman nasa majority. Paano tinawagin yung sarili mong partido? At least sa amin, kahit maliit kami, hindi pwede yun.
Yeah.
Di ba? No, sa akbayan. Dapat malinaw yung party decision, party ideology, party whip, no, etc.
Pero they're just like every other party in the Philippines, if that's the case.
Well, kung
Na
buhay...
maraming turncoating and maraming
well, kung
di ba?
buhay si Pinoy, hindi papayag yun. No, kung buhay
right.
siya.
So you
Okay.
think Pinoy would have done the cleaning up of the house?
Yeah, dahil ang
Hindi,
mahalaga
sa
kay Pinoy,
party
the
muna.
legacy of the party, the legacy of the
Liberal Party
Aquino,
muna.
no? The Aquino family. So,
Well, Bam Aquino is not
Pagka-
Liberal Party anymore, right?
pagkausap ko nga si Pinoy noon, sabi niya, ang problema ko, pag may iniisip akong iba, parang nagagwardya sa akin yung mga magulang ko eh. Kaya hindi siya pwedeng,
Yeah,
hindi siya pwedeng lumabas doon sa kwan na yun, no?
The name, yeah.
Sabi
the
niya,
moral-
palaging nandun sa kanyang likod eh, no? Yung legacy ng kanyang pamilya. Hindi niya pwedeng sirain yun.
So, but Bam Aquino couldn't be the person to do it? I mean, he's out of the loop, right? Hindi na siya Liberal Party, so paano yun?
No comment.
No, parang no comment din siya. We had him actually here. We had him here.
Nandiyan pa naman si Kiko, si Leila.
Alam mo,
Nandiyan pa naman
right.
sila si-
Ganyan ang style na. Sisirain dahil, tapos hindi niya sasagutin. No comment.
Hindi, pero
Hindi,
I think new blood siguro sa liberal more than anything else.
But bakit papatol ang new blood kung what he's saying is a hopeless case that is not even recognizing that it's a hopeless case, you know?
Hindi, wala ka na magawa sa mga matatanda eh. Kasi syempre, masyado nang kinain ng sistema, masyado nang kinain. Pero yung sa bata siguro mas
Parang Camille Villar.
idealist,
Parang
mas-
yung mga ganyan Camille
Or-
Millennial.
Or Kiko D. Kiko Aquino D. Yan yung bagong generation eh.
Sa bagay.
Oo, mga ganon.
Oo,
Parang
na-
mas may-
Ay, yung prof sa UP.
Oh,
pa-
yung
hindi pa
prof sa
kinakain
UP
ng-
na
Mabait.
anak ni Biel Aquino.
medyo
Oh,
mabait.
yun.
hindi pa kinakain ng sistema.
Parang
Diba?
tayo,
Hindi pa.
mabait, no? Yan, no?
They say.
Si Bam has to survive eh.
Yeah.
Yun Yun yung kanyang pero hindi na rin siya Liberal Party.
Yeah.
Yun nga, like what's going on there? But at
Well,
least nag-pink siya. He listened to our advice.
Pinalitan na niya yung kanyang damit.
Oh.
Tsaka tawag ko na sa kanya,
Hindi na
Buff
puti.
Aquino. Kasi medyo, di ba? Medyo, hindi na siya Bam Aquino, Buff Aquino na siya. Medyo, I think he liked it. It's like, Buff Aquino, looking great.
Pero di ba at the same time naman, maraming mga kandidato din from the other parties and party of Digong. Maraming hindi na is Bato even part of that party or did he go
PDP
independent na rin?
PDP
No,
Diba?
PDP pa rin.
Sila.
PDP
PDP pa rin.
Si Francis Tolentino ang umalis.
Oh, yun, Franz
Yeah.
Tolentino. Tapos sino pa? Pero karamihan parang
sila na lang din yun.
oh,
Mismo
wala
yung-
nagbe-break na yung buong
mismo
party.
yung presidente ng PDP, si Pepito Alvarez,
Alvarez.
umalis na.
Oh.
Yung SecGen, ano ba yun? Yung dating Transco.
Yung dating...
Si Melvin Matibag. Yun yung mga unang tumalon, no? Last year pa yon, no? Tumalon na yon, no? Nag-file pa ng disbarment kay Harry Roque, no? Doon sa kwan. Pero sabi ko sa kanya, hindi ka pa rin na-absuelto doon sa 6 na taong ka na PDP laban. At least
Right.
as far as I'm concerned, no? Kasama ko
Pero si Tolentino, Mr. West Philippines sino siyang Mr. Tolentino, Francis Ronald Llamas of Duterte Tolentino. Diba?
Wow, yun ang ano?
He was the political affairs.
yung position ko, siya yung pumalit.
Oh,
Now, he's
okay.
like Mr. West Philippine Sea. I was like, what? What? It's like, you know what's going on. But speaking of what's his name? Ex-human rights. I see Harry Roque.
Ay, okay, yeah.
Kilala mo si Wilfredo Garrido? Siya ba yung Harry Roque of the other side? May nagtatroll kasi sa akin. Sabi,
Tawa
sino
na.
to? Tapos sabi ko, may pagka-Harry Roque. Purong
I've heard his name, pero hindi ko...
parang
I've heard
purong,
his name, pero...
purong Chloe yung comment. Tapos ako yung inatak. Sabi ko, oh, so I'm a celebrity now. It's like, no, but going back,
I've heard his name, hindi ko na siya kilala.
yun nga, ako lahat parang it sounds familiar.
At least si Chris na papanood ko, di ba? Yung Garrido, hindi ko na papanood yun. Eh.
Actually, plastic siya, hindi niya alam sino ka. Tapos kahapon lang pinala.
May balbas kasi siya ngayon eh. Dati,
malinis siya.
very,
Ronald,
siya eh, very
hindi
clean
kami
cut
babae.
eh.
Hindi kami
Very-
babae. Hindi kami yung mga ganun
Very
sa
clean
babae.
cut eh, oh.
Ay, hindi kasi ang bata mo in person.
Oh.
Bro, hindi mag-work yan,
Basta
bro.
tinitingnan ko kasi yung sinasabi niya eh.
Ay,
Nung wala pang Heydarian nun eh.
Ayan na naman.
Si Chris bumabanat na nun eh, no?
tayo, wala naman tayong ginawa, di ba? Mamasyal lang tayo. At ikaw, underground ka.
Iba operasyon ko nun eh.
Medyo underground operations. Now, Chris, going back to this. So, what are the things you want to see in the opposition, and then how are you gonna tie up? Are you gonna tie up event? You are running independent. I'm both of you guys.
Yeah.
How are you gonna navigate this? Because he's running for councilor sa Mandaluyong,
Yep.
and officially non-nuisance candidates are legit. So, how are you guys gonna navigate this? Am I gonna see you one day taking picture with Sarah, another day with BBM, another with Leni?
I don't have an I've said naman talaga that even off cam I've said na I don't have an issue with the Abaloses. I actually like what Benhur Abalos did with the DILG. I think he did a fantastic job.
Yung Abalos na kalaban, kriminal, hindi mo
yeah.
Mali.
Pinalitan nila kalaban at kriminal.
Ang liit kasi nung kalaban kaya laki, Abalos, kalaban, kriminal.
Di ba, inedit ginawang at Kalaban at kriminal.
Yan ang worst ever shit.
Fired na yun, no.
Medyo may problema yung
May
PR nila.
eyesore.
Yung PR
May
nila.
eyesore. Kalaban, kriminal. Pang FBI wanted yung nilagay. Sorry, go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
yun lang. For me, it's that I'm not, like I've said
Like a
naman,
hater, yeah.
I'm not a hater, nor am I, kaya nga may naiinis sa akin ng mga pinks
Purists.
when I would comment and say, oh, I like what BBM did here, or ganun. May nagagalit sa akin, and I'm like, that's the problem. Kasi, guys, if you're always looking at the enemy, na parang lahat ng gagawin niya mali, you're never gonna get anyone to listen to your side of things. When you always believe that their side is wrong, you have to see all sides and determine ano ba yung tama at mali. And we have one objective lang naman, di ba? Para yung objective natin lahat Whether you're supporting Duterte, you're supporting Marcos, or you're supporting whoever, we all have the same objective of wanting the best for the Philippines. I truly believe that the people supporting Duterte want the best for the Philippines. It's the methodology and your belief in what are you willing to compromise. Unfortunately, they're willing to compromise a lot more than what they should be. Diba? Yun yung difference. Kaya sa akin, I will take a photo with BBM if BBM was with me, even though I've criticized him so many times and I still criticize
Game
him.
naman siya, hindi naman siya.
Yeah.
icon,
Oh, but I would never take a photo with the Dutertes. No, nor even
Oy, nag-cancel culture kayo pala eh.
no, see, that's not cancel culture.
Yan.
That's not cancel culture because that's just my
Personal
opinion.
choice.
If you want to take a photo with Duterte, you want to interview him, by all means, go for it. And I even,
Then I will curse him.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Oh, diba?
Isa lang buhay na lalabas sa room. Isa lang buhay.
Actually, if Duterte did show up, would you be willing to do that interview? You and Richard, would you?
Yes, si Richard na lang.
You would not. See, okay, see.
I will do something different.
He will go and get the shit.
Pero I would say the same. I would not want to be in the same room with the Gong.
Katulad ng mga ibang progressive groups na naging bahagi ng Duterte government.
Oh,
no?
yeah.
Ang kanilang paliwanag, no? Tumagal kami na mahigit 2 years dahil nung nakilala namin siya, hindi naman siya ganon. Hello? No?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yep.
Day 1 pa lang may patay na. Diba?
Hindi, nung mayor siya.
yes.
No?
Sabagay.
Paano yung sasabihin na hindi siya ganon, di ba?
As a matter of fact, yun ang problema na sa Pilipinas eh. People equate niceness with mabait na tao. Sabi ko sa kanila, alam mo, dahil mabait yung tao sa'yo, it doesn't mean they're good people.
Yes.
You know how many times they say, nakilala ko naman for example, si Duterte. Nakilala ko naman si Chavit, ang bait-bait niya.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
Nice to meet I
Kaya-
keep on hearing that. Ang dami kong kilala na sobrang intellectual, ganun. Tapos nung kinamayan sila, ay, ang pogi. Ay, ang
Oh,
ganda.
yeah. Oh, ang bait pala
babaw
niya.
ng tao talaga.
Halimbawa, si Patrick Paez kanina, tinatanong niya ako. Sabi niya,
Uy, boss
bakit
natin
hindi
yan,
na lang, ba't sarado kayo dun sa coalition with BBM? Meron naman kayong mga similarities. Sabi ko, yes. Foreign policy,
Right.
no, sa criminality campaign, no, etc., no. Pero sa economy, tsaka sa usapin ng corruption, at tsaka sa historical
crimes.
Revisionism, yeah.
hindi pa rin kami nagkakasundo. Hindi naman kami unit team na mag-unite lang para manalo. Meron kaming ideology, meron kaming vision, meron kaming analysis. Dapat may kaunti ring approximation nun yung makakasama namin sa isang koalisyon. Hindi naman kinakailangan maging purist kami. Pero hindi rin naman pwede na cup half full,
Anything
cup
goes.
half empty.
Yeah.
Kahit dialectical kami, titingnan namin negative at saka positive, ibang usapin kung magsasama kami sa isang sisidlan, sa isang
Right.
partido. Magkaiba yon. Ibang usapin kung pupurihin namin yung foreign policy niya, pupurihin namin yung kanyang human rights ngayon. At the same time, babanatan namin yung human rights record ng kanyang tatay before.
Yes.
Yung loot na hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa nare-recover, babanatan namin yon, no? Yung mga namatay sa torture, at patuloy namin babanatan yon. Ngayon, ibang usapin kung sasabihin niya, let's move on, tatanggapin namin na meron kaming pagkakamali, no, as a family, pero ibahin niyo ako. At ito yung aking gagawin. Ngayon, ibang usapin yun, no?
Break lang, 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes lang. Go. Alright guys, ito na. We're in the last quarter, last 2 minutes na itong show natin. Pag-usapan natin to. Mark, balikan ka namin, Mark. Kamusta yung feeling? Number, what, 24? Number 24?
27.
27, sorry.
Number 28 si
Bongo.
Bongo. Ayun, so
wow.
magkatabi kami.
Swerte yung So, wow.
So,
How are you feeling, bro?
kumbaga, it gets real now. Parang, nung before, isip mo na baka hindi naman ako. Pero, at least kasi ini-expect ko na kung manusans ako yung the amount of pang-aasar na makukuha ko mula sa DDS. At least nakaligtas ako doon. Mark safe ako sa pambabash nila na, oy, nuisance ka. Kasi for the next 3 years, yan ang ititira nila sa akin, nuisance. Pero at the same
Wait,
time...
that means you're running again in 2028.
Ayaw ko magpag-oo. Yun ang plano ko. Yun ang plano ko. Pag inusans ako, tatakbo ko 2028.
Appetizer lang ngayon eh.
Oo.
Appetizer
Ulit
lang,
with a party na. Kasi independent ako ngayon eh. So, that was
Tawagin
my
natin,
plan.
pa-disqualify na natin para bumalik with the party. So now how we feel?
Ayan, hindi. So ngayon,
Wow.
I have to plan na.
Oh my God.
The next 8 months of my life, kailangan ko nang planuhin.
Oo nga.
Saan ako pupunta, saan. Pero ang magandang nangyari, hindi ko pa pwedeng ma-reveal. Merong 2 senatorial balls na
Willing to,
willing to adopt me So sasama kami sa pag-ikot. Obviously, hindi ito PDP, hindi ito bagong Pilipinas na kompleto na sila.
Yeah.
Pero may mga kasama na iikot, and as well as mga local na mga kaibigan natin, kasi ngayon may sinusuportahan tayong mga races din in different cities, different provinces, so tutulong din tayo doon. I was saying din kanina sa Ronald, kasi from the start nga, may mga kaibigan na tayo, tatakbong senador, I committed to support them. Iikot na din naman ako, mangangampanya na din naman ako for them.
Might as well.
Isama ko na sarili ko. Magpakilala na ako, ikampanya ko na din yung sarili ko. So,
Pag si Chavit kasama, pakitawag kami. Kasi gusto namin yung
Oh.
jet at saka yung golden
yung
gun.
gano'n,
Yung may pera.
Yung baril.
Miss Universe.
Oh, may cancel culture. Ako, ang pusta namin, sino mas mataas ang ranking, Chavit or Bato?
Oh my God, Lord.
I mean, both will lose, but it's just who will. I'm still willing to bet on my fellow Ilocano to beat Bato. So, feeling may potential si Chavit, no, to go crazy breakout.
Hindi, like I said nga, may nakikita akong path to
Donald
victory
Trump
si Javi.
style.
Donald Trump style. Pero maliit. Maliit. Hindi, ito, ikwento ko lang. Nagkalya
Pustahan
survey.
na lang.
Nagkalya survey kami, 100 respondents. Ano siya, hindi naman scientific. Ang lumabas, ang nakuha namin, yung mga Tulfos, those who will vote for Tulfos will choose them both.
Package.
They really want tatlong Tulfo.
3 in 1.
Oh, kung gusto mo yung Tulfo, gusto mo talaga tatlo yung nandun.
Wow.
Tapos,
It's a brand eh.
it's a brand. Gusto talaga nila, tatlo silang nandun. Tapos, top sila, sumunod, nandun si Abby Binay, Bong Revilla. Sa Metro Manila to And si Willie Revillame, his name is coming up a lot doon sa
Ito,
mga
believe
doon sa
tayo
mga
din, diba?
kalye survey.
Willie Ong ang mas believe ang...
Ayun, siyempre ilalaban ko talaga si Doc Willie Ong. Tapos napansin ko, pag nagkalye survey, merong boboto lang sa akin kapag kakilala ko. Kakilala ko. Ayan.
Let's fix that.
Gamboa yan. So,
Let's fix that problem.
ang goal ko ngayon is gawin kong kakilala lahat ng Pilipino. So yun ang gagawin.
By the way, ang sabi sa akin ni Willie Ong, dahil nakilala ko siya through Mark, sabi niya, huwag ka na sumama dyan sa podcast ni Hidari, ang gawa ka na ng sarili mo.
Grabe. Alam mo, Ronald, bawi ako. May 2 minutes pa ako. Wala na pala.
Buti na lang, tamad ako sa mga ganyan.
Sige lang. Showdown na tayo. Meron akong ace card. Okay, bro, ikaw, what last points about, what is the plan in the coming months? What should we expect some wild stuff from you or some interesting stuff? A day in the life of a candidate for council. What are we looking at?
Well, originally what I'm planning to do is really have more transparency in local government kasi maraming may hindi alam kung ano yung nangyayari sa local government. As a matter of fact, most people nga, I was just saying, when you vote for councilors, most of the time people don't know who these people are. Diba? You're just kind of voting either as a block or you're like mukhang familiar itong pangalan, sige ito na lang or may guesstimate talaga sige ito may ganun yan eh. So the first time I think this is one of the few times I think we're gonna create that parang familiarity. Through the vlog, I'm going to do that. And going around, of course, you have to go around, which I'm not really fond of, to be honest with you, yung shaking hands and everything. But I want to try this to see nga, something that I've been preaching people to do is to run. So, kaya nasabi ko,
Pinanindigan mo.
pinanindigan ko na. If I'm telling you to run, sige, I'm gonna do it to show you na kaya and show people na hindi ganun kahirap yung pagtatakbo for government. And anyone can do it and I hope that more people do run. At saka this election, mukhang maraming ang tumakbo. I mean, Mark's running, Diwata is running, si
Heidi Mendoza.
Heidi Mendoza's running.
is running.
I support Heidi. Si Rosemar is running. And I'm happy all these new people are running. That's what we need. More candidates like that. And may magpa-pop out dyan. Meron. If not in this election, in the next one.
You need, diba? You need to give people ideas that actually we can do something different. On that note, thank you very much, guys, for joining us. And just forget everything Ronald Llamas
Buti
said.
na nakahabol pa, no?
Kulang ng walang
Para banatan si Richard,
Actually,
no?
Buti na lang nahuli. Ganun ba yun?
Plan was...
Kanina pinapahirapan nahihirapan kami nung wala ka eh. Nahihirapan tanong sa amin.
Pinapawis. Tito Boy Abunda sila. Para sa'yo, Mark. Anong pinakamahalaga yung mga? Para sa'yo, Chris.
Hindi, Mark, paghihiganti kita.
Hindi, tapos sabi ko, di ba, kung sinong wala, yan ang sisirain.
Ayun.
Medyo sayang, umabol eh. Shogun, Ronin na sana ako. Thank you very much, everyone, for that
Alright.
fantastic conversation. Don't worry, malapit na elections. You're gonna see more of us on the ground, in the air, like ano to, Chavit, and hopefully also in your dreams. Thank you so much. Salamat, Chris.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck,
you
good luck,
guys.
good luck.
Thank you,
Good luck.
everyone.
Good luck. Wow,
Thank you.
legit. At sige na.
Senator!
Salamat.
Senator!
Ay, okay, shake hands.
Nice meeting you. Senator, pinaglalaban
ayan,
ko sa mga guesting ko. Pag sinasabing nuisance ka, sabi ko, hindi
Ayun! Yan gusto ko.
Semi lang.
Semi lang.